Oh man. Mm, mm. A plane collided with a helicopter. Uh, mm. Oh man, this is bad. This is sad, man. And they actually caught the plane crash on. They actually caught it on. They caught the footage of it. Mm. Salute to everybody out here. Yeah, what's up, everybody? Hot Black in the building. Nah, this ain't had nothing to do with no DEI pilots, man. This is a collided with a helicopter. There's a lot of traffic. There's a lot of traffic in that area, man. That 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 airspace is very congested, man. That's a very congested airspace, man. I flew into there recently, man. I flew into Reagan National recently, man.
To get people downtown. So this is having ripple effects for all forms of transportation in our area. And WMATA expressing the ways in which they are helping people navigate what is just a tremendous undertaking. We want to get to. We want to show you more images. This looks like a new camera angle that we're able to show, and you can't exactly make out what is happening right there, but you can see the boats in the water, and it appears, okay, this camera is live. This camera is live. Let's go to a different camera. This one is a wider view, and I believe this is looking over the airport. And we should remind folks if they were anticipating someone coming into town or taking off, there's a ground stop right now at Reagan National Airport. So it is going to be a while before the airport opens back up. We likely will get an update on that information when that news conference happens. So this is an unfolding situation where we don't have a lot of information to go to, but we do know that a lot of people heard and saw something tonight that right away they took to social media to share some of that. We're getting more reaction that is coming in. We have reaction now from Senator Ted Cruz. He is among those sharing his thoughts on social media, saying he is closely monitoring the situation at DCA. He will be receiving a briefing from the FAA tomorrow. And then we have some video. Do we have that for us? Is that ready? Okay, we're working on turning that video around. We want to remind our folks that are watching and joining us tonight that we have a team of reporters not only at the scene, but working behind the scene to gather this information as it comes in through social media and different statements from lawmakers as well as those working this investigation. So this is really a team effort night where we are tapping into all of our resources to bring you the latest on this breaking news. Our VJ, our chief meteorologist, Veronica Johnson, standing by because we were talking earlier, VJ, it doesn't appear that weather conditions in the terms of visibility and wind conditions were a factor, but you're focused on water temperature.
That's right. I'm focused on what's happening in the water. Of course, 35 degrees, that water temperature. It's really low, much lower than the actual air temperature. We're still in the lower 40s across the area, but the water temperature is at 35 degrees, of course, right in this area. So there's your perspective, Maryland, as well as DC. We'll zoom right on in really tight to show you Reagan National there. So we're talking about this area right here in the Potomac. There's your runway, and that is the point in the water where the aircraft is in the water. And when you look at the amount of time that has passed since the aircraft went down, I mean, with hypothermia here, with a water temperature at 35 degrees, when it's less than 3 minutes with no protective clothing, you start to lose dexterity. And when you're looking at somewhere between 15 and 30 minutes of being in the water, folks can easily go unconscious. So the rescue crews, they're really racing up against time to get to folks as quickly as possible. But again, that water temperature now at 35 degrees. And we mentioned it was a day with clear skies out there. You can see some of the activity there in the distance. So we're in the 40s with the actual air temperature, 48 degrees. But the winds right now are fairly light, Michelle, out of the west-northwest at just 10 miles per hour. So down from those gusts that we had earlier today. But again, the water temperature 35 degrees. So folks start to lose unconsciousness at 15 to 30 minutes. And unfortunately, there's been quite some time that has passed since we've seen those images of the aircraft collide and go into the.
Yeah, this was sad, man, because that airspace is so crowded over Reagan National, man. Like I plane watched before. You ever watch planes take off from Haynes Point? I watched planes take off from Haynes Point. It's like right across the river, and planes come in so often. I'm talking about one after another. Boom! Like it's almost like every 30 seconds a plane is landing, if not more than that. Very, very congested airspace, man. Then you got the helicopters from the news channels and the military, and it's very congested airspace. This is sad, man. This is so sad, man. These people were just flying in their plane, and the next thing they know, they would fall into the ground. I'm gonna show you the crash, man. They were flying in their plane, and the next thing they know, they were falling to the ground. This is it right here. If you can look in the distance, you can see it. That's how quick it was. This is another plane taking off. This is the plane right here. I mean, this is the plane right here. And I think this is the helicopter. I think the little one is the helicopter. And that's the plane. Boom. Yeah, the plane crashed into the helicopter. I'm sure they both crashed. I think it said it was headed from Wichita. So it was coming in. This is the highway right here. So the planes fly so low over this highway. It's like you feel like you can almost touch it. Like when you're in your car, you can feel like you can reach up and touch it. When you're on the plane, you feel like you're going to land on the goddamn highway. That's how low you are. That's how close the airplane is to this highway. I mean, the airport is to this highway. You feel like if you look out the window and you feel like you're going to land on the fucking highway. What's that, 395? And then next thing you know, you're on the runway. That's how man, this is so sad, man. I've flown into this. This is my airport. This is my airport, man. Reagan National, man. So sad, man. crashed into the Potomac River. So here's the type of plane it was. An AA-5342. And this is the flight path. So it was coming in. I think it was probably going to land. It's going to land on that runway. Wow. Wow. That's just crazy, man. The pilot couldn't, I mean, think about it, man. The pilot's just getting ready to land. They're focusing on landing. They see the runway and they're just descending, keeping the plane steady. They turn the autopilot off and they're landing the plane manually. It's nighttime and boom, it's all over. Wow. You say at taking off. At taking off. What's at taking off? Is that on Twitter? Is that on Twitter? This is the type of plane it was. It was a passenger plane, but it was a smaller one. 60 souls on board. Wow. That's crazy. That is insane. 4 potential survivors pulled from the Potomac River, though. That's good. That's amazing for a plane crash. You have survivors. You have survivors on a plane crash. That's amazing. Said a close call about a week or so in Arizona had a woman in the booth doing air traffic control. Wow. The NTSB gonna do an investigation on this. Wow. They got 4 people though. 4 people. 4 people survived. Or 4 people were pulled from the water. We don't know if they survived. Think about, look at these people on the plane. God, that's terrifying, man. You're on a plane and you're seeing news of a plane crash into the airport where you're coming into. That's crazy. Let me drop the link, man. Make sure y'all support the channel, man. Support the channel, guys. Support the channel. They're suppressing this stream right here. They're suppressing this stream. I don't know why they're suppressing this stream. Wow. RIP to everybody on board, man, that passed away, man. That's everybody's worst nightmare. That's your worst nightmare, man. If you a Black Hawk helicopter.
Also, Paul Wagner is being told that they are being taken to the MPD helipad off South Capitol Street. So this is some good news that we know that those first responders are finding survivors there in those waters.
I mean, considering the fact that we saw the images from EarthCam of what looked like a fireball in the air when this American Eagle flight from Wichita, Kansas, as you're looking here, we're going to show it to you again. This American Eagle flight from Wichita, Kansas was supposed to land at Reagan National before 9, and witnesses reported seeing this fireball, and you can see it going into the Potomac River. We've been reporting tonight that there is a huge response on both sides of the Potomac tonight, with first responders, as Mark was showing us, in rescue boats, trying to navigate these dark waters in a difficult situation because of the unknown. But now news that there are 4 victims being taken to the North Boathouse Fire Station, and that's where any more victims who are recovered will be sent there.
What's up? What's up? Cool cat.
What's going on, Chief? How you doing?
Ain't nothing, man.
Crazy ass plane crash, huh?
Yeah, this is the Black Hawk this is the picture of the Black Hawk that it collided. That's a big old that's a big old helicopter. Jeez.
When did this happen?
Like 30 minutes ago.
Oh, 30 minutes ago. Damn.
Salute to Big Larry, man. Big Larry in the building, man.
Shout out.
Yeah, make sure y'all support the channel, guys. We bringing you breaking news coverage tonight, man. This is breaking news, man. Breaking news.
Definitely.
A deviation from the normal shit, man.
It
do you fly a lot?
just happened 30 minutes ago.
Yeah, do you fly a lot?
Me, nah. I hate flying, to be honest with you.
You get nervous flying?
I mean, I'll do it, but ever since I've seen videos of Boeing and like these undercover videos of how they make their material like trash, and I even saw a video of a door it ripped off in the middle of a flight.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that, but it's just crazy. Like,
What's up, Hot Black?
Not much. It's pretty shitty for sure.
Yeah,
Didn't
it's
look
bad.
like. What is this picture you're getting here? Who is this from?
This is off the internet. This is the Black Hawk, a picture of a Black Hawk. That's what it collided with. It collided with a Black Hawk.
what, a plane collided with a Black Hawk?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Well, they collided with each other. So I mean the helicopter definitely looked like it was making a beeline for the, like crossing the landing space there. That's what you see frequently is like other planes are getting near misses to each other when landing or on the runway or that kind of thing, but I don't think I've ever heard of a helicopter being in that space at the time. I'm sure it probably happens though.
Well, this is last when I was flying into from Ann Arbor. I think it was 2 months ago. Coming back from Ann Arbor, when we got into DC airspace, we had to go into a holding pattern for like almost 45 minutes. So we were just going in circles because there was so much traffic coming in to Reagan National that we had to be in a holding pattern, and we were just going in circles. And I was like, because I'd flown a lot. I mean, in the course of my lifetime, but I'd never been in a holding pattern. Had you ever been there in a holding pattern?
Yeah, it happened to me once over O'Hare, and they diverted to Indianapolis.
Yeah, been there myself.
Yeah, so it was like I didn't know what was going on at first. I was like, yo, why we not landing? And then I was like, oh, okay, so this is what a holding pattern is. You just go in circles until it frees up for you to and then we had to keep going up and down because we had to, because the other planes are coming in, so we had to ascend and then we had to descend. So it was like you're going up and down and in the circle. And it was like, yo, I was like, what the fuck is this? Get on the ghost, like land this motherfucker. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
well, you don't want to hurry it up, you know.
Yeah,
The
no, but
alternative is not attractive.
yeah, definitely, man. You ever flew on the Reagan National?
No, not that airport.
Before we get into the conspiracies, before we get into the back and forth of foul play or who was on the plane or why did this happen, we need to remember that innocent human beings just lost their life in this plane crash. But with that being said, in 2025, with the technology we have, with the training that pilots have, it just doesn't make any sense how a military helicopter, a Black Hawk military helicopter, flown by some of the most trained and highly skilled pilots in the world, collides into a massive commercial airliner jet.
So
We need immediate answers. We need truth, honesty, and transparency. Because a lot of families are devastated right now, and a lot of people are going to be hurt for the rest of their life. May God bless every single person affected by this tragedy. Before we get into the conspiracies, before we get into the back and forth of foul play,
So they're going in. Yeah, people are already doing the conspiracy thing.
you know, people are saying that he
Yeah.
must have seen the plane. It's not necessarily true, you know, and you got to remember these things are closing at a rate of like hundreds and hundreds of meters a second. It happens very slowly from this viewpoint, but from what they're actually able to see, I don't know what he was able to see, but it's possible that he did not see it until the very last moment. The planes are usually equipped with
Radar.
TCAS, traffic collision and avoidance system, but I don't know if the military helicopters would have been equipped with that. Those are transponders that allow two different vehicles to like identify each other by radar and tell the pilots to do something to avoid a collision if it gets too close.
Right,
That's dark as
exactly.
fuck.
No, yeah, but this if he's a military helicopter, it's not uncommon for that. This is DC, Washington DC. You know what I'm saying?
Is it also a military air base? Is there some air bases have a dual
But
capacity like that?
Bowling Air Force Base. You got right there in DC. You have what's the one in Norfolk? I forgot the one in Norfolk. You got Quantico in Virginia. Listen, it's DC, so you got like a lot of
I would imagine it's a lot. Yeah, a lot of military
yeah.
traffic.
It's a lot of traffic there, but nothing like this has ever happened. So
I can't recall, a plane hitting a military helicopter anyway, or vice versa.
Yeah, this is the last one that crashed was 9/11 in DC. That was the last one I can remember crashing in DC.
Yeah, me
In the
too.
Pentagon. That was the last plane crash in DC. So it very, very rarely happens considering the traffic they have over there. I just feel bad for these people because they had like when you're landing, that's when you get happy. You're like, finally we're here. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just in an instant, boom.
It's really one of the more dangerous parts of the flight, honestly, is the landing and the takeoff.
Yeah, exactly, without a doubt. That's the human part.
But I sure know that feeling of relief getting down onto the ground, and I mean, these people probably died like you don't even know what's happening to you.
That's when people start clapping when it starts landing, you know.
Yeah, then you land in this cold water. Like that water, they said it was 35 degrees. In the Potomac tonight, the water.
Yeah, dark debris everywhere.
Happened how these two aircraft in what is very busy airspace, at the very least, turns out that National is the 24th busiest airport in the country. But even so, at night, and when you have these different kinds of aircraft at different altitudes and areas of flight, how it's possible, even with the best systems, to have just a horrible.
Shout out to Gouch Malo, man. Gouch Malo says, salute, Aki. Here's something to get your report. Yeah, man. Shout out, man. Make sure y'all support the channel. Reporter credentials, man. Yeah. We're trying to get our reporter credentials, man. We're trying to get in the White House press room, man. Make sure y'all support the channel via PayPal, Cash App, or the Super Chat, man.
Hey, quick question. If you was up there in the White House press secretary briefing, whatever, and you were able to ask a question, what would you ask?
It out, man. Your mic is.
Yeah, we can barely hear you, Cool Cat.
Oh, okay, my bad. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's better.
Okay, if you had one question that they allowed you to ask in the briefing room with the secretary of press, whatever, the blondie, what would you ask him?
Oh man, that's a good question. I'd have to think about that, man. It depends on what was going on in the news. At that
My
time.
viewers would like to know if the pilots of either of the planes were black.
Jesus Christ. If it was about this, man, I would just, you know what I mean?
Just in general, any question.
Yeah, I would, I would just, I'll probably ask something about, at what point, did you feel any pressure? I was asking, do you feel any pressure to, go easy on the illegal immigrants because of backlash from liberals? You know what I'm saying? Are you feeling like that you feel like you have to go easy, that you might have to scale back on the deportations because of the backlash from Democrats and liberals?
Well, that's the Democrats in charge. The people in Chicago, they want these illegals out of there. I've seen them protesting. They want them the fuck out of there, and New York too.
Definitely, without a doubt. This is crazy though, man.
So folks, it could be that, they may be underwater. Unfortunately, we hope that's not the case. One of the things we talked about too when Dave was speaking was that as this continues, this rescue effort, is that the winds are going to stay relatively light. Skies in the morning should be mainly clear. So we're not talking about any rain here that's going to come with this rescue effort. It's going to be clear skies, light winds for them. Temperatures in the morning, that'll be around 37, 38 degrees, the actual air temp. And that means the water temperature could drop a few more degrees as well. We're at 35 degrees right now. So by morning, that water temperature could be around 33 degrees.
What can you tell us about the force of the water current? Because a lot of times we see the Potomac River in images like this, and sometimes
hard-hitting coverage right here.
It is a very forceful river.
It is, right. In big bodies of water, you can see that current move much easier.
Yeah, this is really
right now, the
important
winds are
information.
out of the northwest, and even though they're relatively light at about 5
tell
to
me
10
about
miles
it.
per
The
hour
temperature of
right
the water
now,
in the
it's
morning.
still
Nobody's gonna be
current.
live
It
by the
would
morning.
carry anything from north.
Nobody's going to be live. It's been 30 minutes. You're unconscious by now, and that type of water, you're unconscious.
That's true. That freezing water will start shutting down everything.
Yeah, you did. There's no way, man. It's just physics, man, or whatever you want to call it. Let's see what this guy's got to say about this.
While on approach to Reagan National, we are coming on the air with breaking news out of Washington, D.C., where a commercial airliner has collided with a helicopter in mid-air while on approach to Reagan National Airport. The plane then crashed into the Potomac River. It was an American Airlines flight that departed from Wichita, Kansas. And we have the following statement from the FAA. They tell us a PSA Airlines regional jet collided in midair with a Sikorsky H-60 helicopter while on approach to runway 33 at Reagan Washington National Airport around 9 p.m. local time. PSA was operating flight 5342 for American Airlines. It departed from Wichita, Kansas. The FAA and NTSB will be investigating. The NTSB will lead the investigation. We will provide updates as information comes in. We can tell you the Sikorsky H-60 is a family of military helicopters built by Sikorsky Aircraft, also known more commonly as the Black Hawk.
Salute to my man Mark Ishmael in the building. Shout out to Barry B, man. Make sure y'all support the channel, man. We giving this hard hitting, man. We trying to find out the bottom of this, man. People, this is every person who flies worst nightmare, man. This is what everybody fears, man.
What's going on, my guy?
What's cracking?
What's up, champ?
What's going on, fellas?
Oh, is that conservative from the hood?
Yes, sir.
Oh, well, what's up,
shit,
man?
What up?
Long
What's
time
going
no
on,
hear
man?
from.
Yeah,
Where you
I
been
be,
at, man?
I be watching this joint. I be watching, man. I be enjoying every night, man.
Oh, that's what's up, man. Well, good to hear from you, man. What's new?
Same old shit. Same old shit. We still sunning, you know. Same old shit, man.
Yeah, definitely, man. They gathering them up in your neck of the woods, man. To the
Hell
immigrants,
yeah.
man.
Hell yeah. I like seeing that shit too, man. That shit's entertaining, man. Yo, real shit. That shit's entertaining as shit, man. Everybody's hiding in the city and shit. It's crazy. Everybody's hiding, ducking and dodging, not going to work, not going to school. It's a mess, but it's funny. It's fun.
Hey,
I love
what
to see
city
that
you
shit.
in again?
Boston.
Beantown.
Boston? Yeah, definitely. They got that Chinese bitch talking about she's not gonna help deport them or whatever she said.
Yeah, they
Oh, you
don't
knew
care.
she wasn't. You knew she wasn't gonna be with that shit. You could tell by her past politics.
Oh yeah, she's the one who had the party for POCs
Yeah.
only.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah,
POC
man.
party.
Do you fly conservative?
A little bit. This shit sounds crazy right here.
Yeah, this is crazy, man. Are you nervous when you fly, or you like flying?
It'd be cool. It's like just that
Yeah.
anxiety just right there, hearing the engine and all that crazy shit. But once that joint's in the air, man, I'd be like, all right, cool.
There's
Go to
always a
sleep.
certain amount of anxiety, like knowing that you're walking in this thing and you give up complete control to somebody else, and it may result in this kind of thing, you know?
That's why
Some
I just
people
have a
fly.
dream.
Yeah, some people fly so much though. Like think about baseball players or NBA basketball players or salesmen, executives, or politicians. Where they're on the plane every fucking other day, or even sometimes. Like think about on the campaign trail, the reporters that cover they're like they're always all over the world on the planes. You just get on the plane and you go. You know what I mean? They don't even think twice about it.
Hell yeah, they don't bat an eye. Just like the stewardesses and shit. The lady, the women that work on the airplane and
Yo,
shit.
last flight I was on, it was like 20 something stewardesses. They were coming from Detroit to DC, so it was like I don't know whether it was like a shuttle for stewardesses or whatever, but it was a lot of them on the plane, man. And it was like I was like, damn. But I guess they were transferring to another flight. But yeah, if you're a flight attendant, you're just on the plane all the time. I mean, just like it's your job, you know? That's crazy. I'm more like the type of person, man, like don't get me wrong. When you in the air, like once you get to like cruising altitude, like 30,000 feet, it's just I'm the type of person I don't like looking out the window. I still don't like looking out the window. Some people they can look out the window and stuff like that.
When I was coming back from Iceland a while back, like they take a path like over Greenland and shit in very northern Canada, and they fly really really high on that flight, I guess. And I was looking out down there, and yeah, it's kind of terrifying. I mean, even if you do manage to land down there, you're dead man anyway because it's a wasteland.
But that's a nice view, right?
The rescue crew can't get to Greenland.
Yeah, I mean, not on a glacier, basically. I mean, this was pretty desolate areas that they were flying over.
But
I'm having to get me a little mini parachute next time I fly, man. Fuck with this shit, man. God damn.
Yo, this shit crazy, man.
Can
This
you
shit
imagine a
crazy.
plane full of panicked passengers all trying to jump out of the emergency exit though? Like that shit
Tangled
ain't
up
gonna
and
work,
shit.
man.
All tangled up and shit.
Yeah.
That shit crazy.
Uh,
No, man. That's why they don't have them shits on. They know it ain't gonna work.
Mhm.
Wow. But this is so sad because it's like when you plane watch over there, or what they call it, plane spotting.
Either
I
one, I
would,
think.
yeah. They got
was reposted by Jackie Heinrich with Fox News. I'll post a link in the chat.
they got a park across from there where you can plane spot. One day I was over there, and I didn't go over there two planes, but I just was over there, and man, when I say that, I mean plane land every 30 seconds, man, over there, man. And take off every 30 seconds. Like that's a busy ass airport, man. And there's helicopters in the sky circling the traffic because that's how they do the traffic. They have the helicopter, and then you got the news helicopters, and you got all the military stuff. It's a very congested airspace. For this to only have happened once is amazing.
I mean, it's a modern miracle that doesn't happen all the time with the ever increasing congestion in airspaces. This is bound to happen. It's amazing that doesn't happen.
I have a picture. Here is a UH-60 Blackhawk right here. That's from Wikipedia. Here's a picture from Wikipedia from dvidshub.net, which I believe is a military site, U.S. military site. That is it. That's not the helicopter. It's just a picture of what such a helicopter looks like. That's a UH-60 helicopter photo from Wikipedia. And that is the type of helicopter that collided with the plane tonight.
That's crazy.
According to Reuters, they are saying this is Army UH-60 helicopter out of Fort Belvoir, Virginia.
But what I don't get is,
That's
don't they
another
keep in like radio contact? Like, hey, I'm taking off at this location. Are you in the area? Yeah, I'm in the area.
Yeah.
Don't take off just yet.
Well, that would be the job of air traffic control, but
Oh,
it's
I was-
possible that the helicopter lost communications or something. I mean, there's a lot of different things that could have happened.
I was gonna say that. Don't they have like radars and shit like that where it shows each other like?
They do, and the planes are usually equipped with their own radar transponders that sort of detect collisions that are possible in a certain area around the plane. But I think that it's possible the military helicopters may not be running that gear, although it seems perilous for them not to be.
Yeah, I would think they would since they're military helicopters. Like they
Right, they
gotta
wouldn't
be.
necessarily. Well, first off, you wouldn't want to necessarily broadcast your
Effort is
transponder
to get
location
the crews
if
as
you're a
close to the
military
water as you
thing.
can so they can immediately administer
Yeah,
any
that's true. That's true. That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's
about right.
yeah. But it's just crazy, man. That like this. That when I watched the video from the time the helicopter hit it, that thing hit the ground in like half a second. The plane was on in the river in half a second. It was like boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? Like just those people, man. I feel bad for those people, man.
This is where the plane crashed in the Potomac. It crashed into the Black Hawk helicopter, and as you can see over there, there's
And if
still
you've
a few
ever
crews
stood-
and a few.
if you've ever stood next to the Potomac, because the park that's across from it, Haynes Point, it's literally level. Like you're not like on a pier or you're not on a elevated. You're like level. Like the waves come up onto the over the banister or whatnot. And listen, man, if you fall in that Potomac River, you done.
Yeah, of course.
It moves fast.
Done. It is like so. It's like a old river. Like it's like Untamed, a savage river. It's like the Mississippi.
And
Like when I
cold.
was in New Orleans.
And
Yeah,
it's probably
like
cold as hell right now too.
yeah,
Or the
it's a
Hudson
river.
River.
It's a river. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a river. Like it ain't still. That bitch is moving.
Or the
And it's
Hudson
like-
River.
Yeah, I haven't seen the Hudson, but oh yeah, that's the one in New York, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a little bit bigger than this, but this one is this one right here is yeah, man. It's like, man, you could just stand over there and you like shit. If you fall in that bitch, you are done. It's finito. Forget about it. Because we got another river here, the Anacostia. If you fall in that, you might have a chance if you can swim and people can come help you with it real soon. But that one right there, you're finito if you fall
Is
in
there a
that
lot of
one.
ship traffic in the Potomac?
They have like tour car,
Yeah, tour boats.
yeah, tour boats and shit like that. It was not really like I don't see a lot of cargo and shit like
Yeah.
that.
National Airport, and we were eating dinner, just as normal, taking in the nice views, and we noticed the planes started having regular patterns, and they all kind of dispersed from their regular landing patterns, and then we looked up in the sky before that, and we saw these white flare.
What do you think when you saw these white flares?
We didn't think much of it. We thought they were like shooting stars. I don't know. I couldn't really explain it, but we didn't really think much of it until we saw the fire trucks start going out to the tarmac.
So that's what we're seeing, right? It's something where everyone's trying to come to grips with what they saw, and in the meantime, we have a massive rescue response, a mass casualty response, as it were, across the Potomac, all the way up from Reagan National down to almost the Woodrow Wilson Bridge. So we're kind of keeping an eye on this as it's developing. But like I said, it's been changing over the last hour to an hour and a half in terms of where the boats are headed to, where the ambulance and emergency vehicles are going to. And we're trying to get a better idea, hopefully soon, of what, if any, survivors they're able to find from this. And when we do, we'll bring it to you. And of course, we're going to be on the scene, continue to document this as it goes. Guys, back to you in the studio.
Many people are desperate for some hope tonight, desperate for some answers. We are hearing more about how, what happened. We just don't know the how. We're learning that Black Hawk helicopter was based out of Fort Belvoir, Virginia. And we're also hearing from the president again.
That's
tonight.
right. We just got a statement a short time ago from President Trump saying, I have been fully briefed on the terrible accident which just took place at Reagan National Airport. May God bless their souls. Thank you for the incredible work being done by our first responders. I am monitoring the situation and will provide more details as they arrive. Again, that statement tonight from President Trump.
Yeah, we've been talking about just the vast, huge response to this catastrophe on the water. And our colleague Leslie Moreno is at the DC Police helicopter pier on South Capitol. Leslie, what are you hearing? What are you hearing about what's happening there?
Hey guys, yeah, we are about 3.5 miles north from that crash site. We are currently on South Capitol, that very busy roundabout here. I'm not sure if you can see here behind me, but this is the MPD, as you mentioned, aviation and boat support headquarters. You can see here we have crews both on the ground, and I don't know if you can hear, but in the air as well. This is where we believe this is the location where those victims will be brought in. No word yet on whether any have been brought here, but you can see crews have a large area here, a large portion blocked.
Man, this is a big story that could, most of the stories since Trump got president have been about, things he's done, as far as like laws and immigration and stuff like that. This is like the first story, because people are gonna be like, yo, how does this happen over DC airspace? How does a military airline collide with military plane collide with a commercial jet over,
It's going to be rife for conspiracy stuff.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, the bottom line is the better question is, how is it possible that things aren't colliding more often? Really?
Exactly.
Yeah, accidents.
No, we need to know exactly what happened here.
Well, nobody's
There's
saying that we don't
definitely
need
a
to know what happened,
conspiracy.
AP. Nobody's saying that.
You
about
just said the
conspiracy,
better
I mean,
question is what the fuck just happened.
Well, that is a good question. I mean, if you know anything about like the way that airspace and air traffic control works and shit, I mean, it's overwhelming the amount of traffic that there is, and the fact that they're not all colliding with each other more often is, it's pretty remarkable in itself.
I agree with that.
Hmm.
'Cause
I
it
agree with
could be
that
way
too.
more crashes. It could be a crash a day.
And there were previously until there's been so much technology that's been developed because of crashes that to avoid it in the future.
Yeah, same with car accidents.
This is going to save people's lives in the future. This because they're gonna the airlines really don't change anything until there's an accident. So they're gonna look at what happened here, and they're gonna make regulations for flying over this airspace.
They start
'Cause this
changing
doesn't.
stuff once the feds crack down on them.
I will say having the fact that it crashed into a military helicopter, that is definitely, I mean, that's not normal.
Yeah, and the fact that it's it's right over DC. It landed in the Potomac. It the military helicopter. The the people want another story other than the immigration right now. People are thirsty for another news story. You know what I mean? People want to they want another news story. You had the fires in L.A. Then that kind of got old. Then you had Trump getting coming in power and immigration and just starting to get old. And they're going to try to. I don't know if this will be that way because this was 64 people. This was a smaller plane, and this was a what I mean, it just was like if it had been like a big plane with 200-300 people on it. I think this could have probably been a bigger story, but I think that this is going to be just a day or two story, nothing major.
That's why they say the first 3 days are like the most important days as far as news wise. Because after 3 days, people move on.
Yep.
Something else happens. There's a fire here. There's a shootout there.
Salute to Andy Armour, man. Andy Armour in the building. Shout out to my man Andy Armour, man. Salute to Michael, man. Michael in the building, man.
I guess he thinks I'm a fisherman.
He said, "Hi, fisherman." I don't see the fisherman's voice is so much different than yours to me.
Yeah, I mean, I can see how people make the.
Y'all do kind of sound alike.
Yeah,
Kinda.
sometimes.
Hell no, they don't sound alike. Hell no.
Not to me, yeah.
He can't sound like me and Hot Black. We can't all sound like fishermen.
Yeah, well,
You
y'all
sound like
gliders.
fisherman. Whoever just talking right there sound like fisherman right there.
There's a
Oh,
commonality.
maybe you thought King was a fisherman. My bad.
There's a commonality in your voices because you all have the same similar DNA and whatnot. But like
Yeah, we share similar sentiments about
Are
certain
you from the South,
tribes.
JV?
No.
I can't remember. Yeah, because like fishermen live like not very far from where I grew up, so it makes sense that we'd sound alike.
Yeah. Let's see what they're talking about here, man.
Pilots and 2 flight attendants, and as Simone just mentioned, 3 folks on board that Black Hawk helicopter.
So this has been going on since about 8:53 when the first calls came in about the explosion that you saw us just talking about. And we're careful as we show that video because we know about the fragility of life, and we realize that we have not seen any reports yet of any survivors. And that is not to say that there have not been any survivors.
I
We
thought they
just
said
don't
there were
have any
4.
reports of that. And so as we show you this video that we've been showing you for some
I
time
don't know
now,
if they
we're
didn't necessarily
reminded
say to
that
survive.
lives were altered catastrophically in those moments that you just saw there. And so we're going to be careful when we show this video.
Now, in contrast, we can show you this. Hopefully this provides some comfort. The number of folks who are out there right now trying to rescue those after this plane went down. Again, mid-air, you have a passenger jet along with that military helicopter going down shortly before 9 o'clock tonight.
And you know, so we're learning that white bus you see right there is a mass casualty ambulance. And so in the event, and we sure hope that there will be survivors. They will likely be transported in that particular vehicle there.
Yeah, we
to
just
the
heard
hospitals.
from Hamad Raza, Larry Miller spoke with earlier at Reagan National, was waiting for his wife. He mentioned that last text message 20 minutes before she was set to land, saying, we're about to land. Again, this plane was set to land. And that's the point of the flight where you think you're
You
okay.
exhale.
Yeah,
You
we are
exhale.
almost there. What
Yeah.
could have gone wrong? You know, we have passed that moment, past that point. You know, your bags are stowed, trays are up, seats upright, you're ready to land. And then something like this happens. Again, what happened is unclear. We just know that these two collided, that plane and the helicopter. But, you know, if you've been in this area for a while, you know, we talk so often about the dangers here at Reagan National Airport. We've had these close calls way too many times. We have been warned by political leaders saying, you know, this airport cannot support more flights because what we see right here is bound to happen. And this is such a delicate dance there near Reagan National Airport. It's not a normal airport. You have Joint Base Anacostia Bowling right on the other side of the Potomac River. So not only are you dealing with that airport traffic going in and out at all hours of the day, you have that military base as well, these flights going in and out.
It's also not in a rural area where there's a whole lot of room for error. You got to get to that runway and get to it quickly. We've been talking about the catastrophe in the sky tonight that unfolded over the waters of the Potomac River, where you see right now a frenetic search right now for any survivor that may have been on that 60-passenger plane or any of the 3 that were on that Black Hawk helicopter that tragically collided midair just before that American Eagle flight was set to land at Reagan National Airport, runway 33, where people like Hamad Raza were waiting for their loved ones. And the thing that has to be so hard for Hamad and so many other loved ones is just the wait, the agony of the wait for answers, the not knowing, and those last moments that you remember texting with a loved one or talking with a loved one, or surely there were other.
Yeah, this is so sad, man. Jeez. Salute to Michael, man. Salute to Miguel Wano. Miguel Wano says, if this has anything to do with D3I or DEI, consider DEI going forever. Yeah, people been saying that a lot. It looks like the helicopter, it was pilot error on the helicopter, or maybe pilot error on the plane, but
Well, there's there's no way. It
I don't think the plane
pilot
could do
error on the
anything.
plane. Yeah, the plane is being vectored in by ATC, so they're supposed to be there. The helicopter definitely was the one that was not supposed to be there, but whether they realize that or not is the question.
wow.
Here we go, DEI all over again.
Jesus Christ, y'all.
Yeah, it was like Shaniqua, the Black Hawk pilot or something, right?
Oh shit, man.
Chantrell, the Black Hawk
Shaniqua,
pilot.
Boomquisha, her co-pilot.
Jeez.
Warrant Officer Bukuisha.
If that was DEI, I don't even think they would have made it off the ground.
Or some Sun teens jacked a Black Hawk and took it for a joyride.
Yeah, that could be it. That could be it.
Oh,
The Black Hawk boys.
Put the Cadillac converter off the plane and shit.
Shit.
Wow. He said Trump just made a statement. Yeah, we just heard that statement from Trump, man. Default now says this is sus. Let's see what else is going on in let's see what else is going on. Those channels ain't really giving you the just the mainstream talking points. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, the mainstream media is.
Was that a rapper shot up at the top right? The brother of rapper Too
brother.
Short.
Oh shit! Wow. You know his song "Blow the Whistle" been blowing up lately again because Gilly's using it. Made it this theme song for the Philadelphia Eagles. Damn, Too Short. He's 52 or 53 now. He just had his first kid too a couple years ago.
Our top story tonight: the killing
His first?
of rapper Too
Yeah.
Short.
Pretty late for a rapper, yeah.
Shot and killed him during an attempted robbery of a building in East Oakland. Our top story tonight: the killing of the brother of rapper Too Short. Someone shot and killed him during an attempted robbery of a building in East Oakland. NBC Bay Area's Valina Jones has been tracking the story all day. She's got details about what happened.
OPD received several calls at around 0700 hours of a ShotSpotter activation and several 911 calls.
Tonight, OPD investigators are combing over evidence and searching for the people responsible for shooting and killing a man in an attempted robbery turned deadly. Investigators say around 7 this morning, multiple suspects tried to ram a car into an industrial building on 49th Avenue near East 12th Street.
The suspects arrived to the location. They attempted to force their way into the property. While they were attempting their way in, the victim stepped out, was confronted by the suspects, and the suspects fired several rounds at the victim.
The victim is rapper Too
Wow.
Short's older brother. Police confirmed his identity as 61-year-old Wayne Shaw. Police say Shaw was shot multiple times and transported to a nearby hospital where he died. Investigators do not know if he was targeted or if the robbery was random. Too Short grew up in Oakland and is known as a pioneer of West Coast hip hop. He began his recording career in the 80s. The city named a street after him in East Oakland back in 2022. Too Short has not publicly said anything about his brother's death. Police say
Cool Cats in the back.
in an unknown
Yeah, it just happened. Like, damn, can a motherfucker grieve and shit? God, damn, they want a statement from you as soon as. Wow, that is so sad, man. Too Short brothers dead, man. Killed.
Yeah, I have confirmed through sources that the victim is indeed the older brother of Too Short. Now, at this point, no arrests have been made, and police say that the victim was trying to protect a marijuana grow operation. Numerous
Oh, so he was the security at a marijuana.
That's dangerous right there, man.
I'm telling you, man. That's a dangerous job. man.
marijuana grow operation. Numerous sources tell KTVU the older brother of rapper Too Short was shot and killed Wednesday morning during a botched robbery at a marijuana grow operation. 61-year-old Wayne Shaw was shot at about 7 on 49th Avenue near East 12th Street. KTVU has learned Shaw was running the marijuana grow and sleeping at the warehouse when robbers used a car to ram the building. Evidence markers and shell casings litter the sidewalk in front of the warehouse and in the middle of 49th Avenue. This Honda Civic on the median at 50th and International around the corner was riddled with gunfire and connected to the case. The owner tells me his car was stolen overnight from North Oakland.
Honestly, just shocked. I don't know how to honestly process that. I mean, I know who Too Short is. I'm like, I would say I'm a loose fan, not like a huge fan, but I'm aware of Too Short and I like his music.
Too Short, whose given name is Todd Anthony Shaw, is known as the godfather of Bay Area hip hop. In 2022, Foothill Boulevard between High Street and 47th Avenue in Oakland was renamed Too Short Way in his honor. His brother, who died, was older by 3 years.
I only hear like pa 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 pa, and it's scary.
We ran into this man, whose voice may be familiar to those who follow him on social media.
Oakland, California, donde la vida no vale nada.
Yeah, legalizing weed was supposed to stop this kind of stuff. Obviously,
Yeah, it ain't gonna stop some
foolish.
people from running up and stealing your shit, though. I mean, nothing's
No.
gonna do that.
Stop shit.
And this guy right here is.
This ain't no cartel shit or something.
You remember a couple years ago that black lady was on that show? She said, "Who kills for marijuana? Who kills for weed?" Remember that one guy?
Yeah, like pretty much only black people.
It was the case, the Botham Jean case, yeah. And the witness to the Botham Jean murder, he got killed before he could testify in a botched weed deal. And the lady was like, "Oh, that's suspicious. This is they killed him so he wouldn't testify." Yeah, black people kill weed all the. I sold weed for a long time, man. I was a weed dealer, man.
And how was it like?
Mid level. It was. I listen. I sold at different points in my career. I sold nicks, man. Sold dimes. Sold dubs. This is before 3/5 and all that stuff, right? This is 3/5 and all that shit. This was back when it was nicks, dubs, 50 bags. You know what I mean, and shit like that. It wasn't no. It was dimes. It was $10. Dub was $20. It wasn't no like weight like that, like as far as the small shit. And I sold QPs, I sold half pounds, I even sold pounds at certain times, man. But yeah, I mean it's a slow grind too. Like weed is a slow grind. It's not like crack or cocaine or
Dude,
heroin.
the market in California right now, like, I mean, it couldn't be easier to get pot out there. It's cheap. Everybody's got it. There's so many people. I don't even see like what the profit behind this is. This is definitely like sun crime.
I bet it is.
But you got dispensaries everywhere, and it's still a market for street level weed. People sell weed across the street from some dispensaries, man. If it's in the hood, yeah. I mean, yeah, there's still a level. There's still a market for
Yeah, no doubt.
It's still a market for street level sales and crime. You can make some money. It's a lot of it's a few spots that I know of that are jumping. But yeah, like the dispensaries, they were supposed to fuck the game up. I haven't sold weed since 2007. So it was a long time ago. I can't believe it's been almost 20 years, man, since I sold weed. That shit was such a big part of my life, my identity at the time, man.
I stopped in 2015.
Type of weed stores. Let me tell you all type of weed stories, man. Because like it's like when you sell weed, man, it's like people, the weed heads, they're not like crackheads, but they will like dudes. I remember dudes would take their gains to GameStop and sell them to GameStop just to get buy weed and shit. Niggas would be like,
Turn around and tell you they're not addicted too.
Yeah. Motherfuckers with you know what I'm saying, their check, when the niggas get their check, they gotta give you like half of their check because they'll be ticking weed all week and shit. Yeah, man, it is definitely addictive, man. And the stuff I was selling was nothing like this now. This stuff that they smoke now is like 10 times better than the shit that we were smoking back in those
100.
Yeah, it's insane how good the stuff is compared to what. But we got high off that shit, and we would be zooted off that shit because it's all about your tolerance. Yeah, but I remember droughts and shit. I remember droughts in DC, man, because it would be a drought every couple of years. You know what I mean? Because it'd be a big bus, and you gotta when it's a drought, you're still a dealer. So it's like you get an ounce and shit, a weed in a drought, you selling like a dime for like $40, $50, because it would literally be no weed. I'm talking about them droughts was so serious. You talk about conspiracy, like them droughts would be so serious, it'd be insane. Like nobody would have weed, and I was connected. Nobody would have weed.
You're a made man.
No, I'm just saying, like I had multiple sources to get my weed just from over the years of selling. Like you get, you know what I mean? Like just when you sell weed, you just know you meet a lot of people. Like, you know what I mean? In the weed trade.
That's true.
And nobody would have weed. If it was a drought, nobody would have weed. You couldn't find weed nowhere. That shit would be so crazy, man. But yeah, it's a lot of shit. I won't get into all that. But yeah,
Man who posts anonymously has an office near the crime scene. Part of his trademark phrase in Spanish translates to "where life is worth nothing."
I mean, this is how it is right now in Oakland because nobody, it's hard. Like nobody want to work, and the city left us.
Kentucky Blunt now delivers cannabis after shutting down his Blunts and More dispensary in East Oakland, in part because of repeated burglaries.
We're trying to conduct regular, normal business, and we have to
What if it was some illegals that killed this man? Because this is Oakland, and it's a lot of like Mexicans up there. What if it comes out that illegal killed this man, brother? That would be crazy.
Be protected like we're a bank.
Blunt's been working with other marijuana purveyors on ways to improve safety.
Any person life taken should be amplified. You know what I mean? It just sucks that if this is the truth, it happens to be Todd's brother, which is super unfortunate.
Now, I have reached out to Too Short, but have not heard back. Oakland police are asking anyone with information or video evidence to give them a call. Live in Oakland.
Man, I just found out his brother dead.
Damn, that's terrible news to find out right there.
Jeez, that's so crazy. Wow.
I just don't get it. They talked about that legalizing weed would like stop crime and all this, but I feel like it's just made it worse.
I doubt it's made it worse, but it was pretty. I mean, it's very optimistic.
The
to say it
Suns
would
are the
stop
only ones
crime.
doing it.
Well,
I think
for the most part, killing over marijuana, yeah, for the most part.
I think over the past, like, I would say, since dispensaries been, you know, a thing, and all the medical marijuana cards and all that stuff, I don't think it's changed the violence in the weed game at all. It transferred it from dudes busting up in, you know, trap houses or spots to dudes busting up in grow houses and dispensaries. But we've done several stories of like some fucking little punk ass kid like trying to sell some weed and getting smoked, you know, over a fucking dime bag, or fucking some dude try to steal, you know, an ounce of weed from him and they kill him for it and shit. We've done several stories like that, man.
There are some petty ass people.
We've done several stories about that. If you have something of value, right, in the hood, no matter what it is, somebody's going to try to take it from you. If you know what I'm saying, it doesn't matter what it is, your tennis shoes, your jacket. So if you got weed is something that of value. So yeah, the people will kill you over that stuff, man.
Highly sought after.
Yeah, but over the dumbest shit though, like over a pair of shoes, over a 40 piece of weed, like what the fuck?
Well, yeah, I mean, weed is just about as petty as jacking somebody for their Jordans, you know, killing somebody
Yeah,
over
that's
some
what I'm
bud.
saying. Like over some petty ass shit like that, you're gonna kill somebody?
Yeah, I mean, like, let me show you. Let me see. Make sure you hit the PayPal, Cash App, Super Chat. Support the channel, man.
Hey Nation, hit that like. Come on, it ain't nothing hard. Just hit that like.
Tonight, DC police say they've arrested one of the men who shot and killed a marijuana store owner back in March. This happened at Hot Box on Georgia Avenue. That's in the Petworth neighborhood in Northwest.
Pretty common.
Investigators say the shooting happened during an armed robbery. 21-year-old Trenton Collins is now charged with first-degree murder. So the second suspect is still on the run tonight. You can see him right there. It's tough to make out, but if you can help police track this person down, they certainly would like to hear from you.
Yeah, we did that story when it happened. The guy was a rapper. The guy was a rapper, and he was working in I guess not a dispensary, but a store where they sell weed. Like, and those vape shops get robbed all the time because they sell weed on the
Yeah, I wasn't really thinking about that, I guess, Cool Cat, but like in the case of the actual stores being robbed and that crime going up, yeah, for sure, that has definitely happened.
Cash
at 11,
only business.
prosecutors claim 4 people shot and killed a 19-year-old last month in an explosion of gunfire after an apparent drug deal gone wrong. You are looking at the crime scene photos. The shooting happening May 14th outside of an apartment complex near Stewart and Nellis. One suspect has been named, 21-year-old Jeremiah Smith. He is facing an open murder charge. The other 3 have not been named, nor have they been arrested.
A grand jury indicting several teenagers accused of shooting into a home full of children.
that's a little shit. Let's see. Oh yeah, this was. Oh, that was
Burritos there. What the hell are those? I don't even know.
there we go.
Crime tape and a shopping plaza shut down as deputies investigate a security guard shot and killed at a marijuana dispensary.
The shooting happened just before 2 this morning. And NBC4's Michelle Vyas is live at the scene gathering new information from detectives there. Michelle, what are they telling you?
Well, the investigation is still very active, guys. Good morning from East LA. You could see the 6100 block of Whittier Boulevard well taped off. As Jeff zooms in, you can see deputies investigating the shooting believed to have taken inside the marijuana dispensary. Deputies right now calling this a robbery gone wrong at East LA Greens on the 6100 block of Whittier Boulevard. The marijuana dispensary is usually open 24 hours as the deputies investigate this overnight homicide. The call came in at 1:57 in the morning, just hours ago. And when deputies arrived, they say they found a man believed to be the security guard inside with gunshot wounds. He was pronounced dead right there on the spot. The suspect got away. It's unknown how. We do know that many of these dispensaries are well strapped with cameras, and we are looking to see if that will be released, as well as we know that many of the security guards at marijuana dispensaries in our areas are also well armed. We don't know if that was the case in this situation or how this robbery gone wrong happened just few hours ago. We know loved ones of the victims are outside in the parking lot hoping to learn more, as are we. We will bring you another update here from East LA coming up in the next hour. In East LA, Michelle Vyas for Today in LA.
It's very close.
These are some of the worst criminals suspected Tren de Aragua gang members allegedly make.
That was
Aztecs out of here, man.
This year, man. That was just this year. It is plenty more marijuana related, but this is today, right?
These are some of the worst criminals suspected Tren de Aragua gang members allegedly making money selling guns on the streets of the city, but they had no clue they were selling to undercover NYPD officers. Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch.
I am proud to announce that NYPD detectives has successfully intercepted and shut down a significant Tren de Aragua pipeline of guns into New York City.
When confronted during a buy and bust operation, the NYPD says the gang members put up a fight. Still, detectives arrested 8 out of 10 suspects as a part of this investigation and recovered more than 30 guns.
So you come over here to our country and this is what you're doing. That is insane.
For real. They can't leave that dumb shit behind.
They probably couldn't get away with it in their country, so they do it here.
Trump said, they were going to open up all the prisons and let them out. I believe that 100%.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's definitely happening.
Fuck.
TDA is a dangerous transnational gang that is specialized in murder, trafficking, and mayhem.
During a news conference, Commissioner Tisch and Queens District Attorney Melinda Katz announcing an indictment and charges against these suspected gang members. Katz says their criminal activity includes dealing drugs and other crimes, reaching further than the city.
And included Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Texas, Florida, Colorado, and plans to expand on an international level to Colombia.
Tren de Aragua, or TDA, is a violent gang from Venezuela. On social media, police say they display their criminal enterprise and how they're expanding day by day here in the city.
They come here almost exclusively to commit and engage in criminality.
Pix 11 News was there inside the planning and execution phase of the buy and bust, happening at 2 separate locations, one in Queens, the other in the Bronx, Tuesday afternoon. Detectives are given a reminder of who they're dealing with.
These are the individuals that wake up every day with one intention, is to commit as many crimes as possible and really to make money in any way possible.
It took about 8 months to get to this point in the investigation, and the NYPD says it all started with a tip from the community. Year to date, the department says they took more than 60 guns out of the hands of TDA members. But with that success, their enforcement is just beginning and not without challenges. Right now, these suspects all face serious charges, including conspiracy to possess and sell firearms.
They're selling firearms in America. Wow.
Well, so was the mayor of Bogalusa. So
Yeah, true indeed. But he's a citizen, though. Let's keep it a buck. He's a citizen. These guys are like, they probably don't even know who half these guys are until now. Like, they just come in the country and
yeah, this shit is unacceptable. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Police
They
say several members.
Yo, hey, you guys saw when the president of Colombia didn't want to take him in, and Trump.
Yeah, Trump bitch slapped him.
Yeah, bitch slapped the fuck out of him, and he's like, okay. He took him back in 15 minutes.
Yeah, man. Salute to CA, man. Long time no see. Shout out to CA.
Shout out, sweetie.
Make sure y'all support the channel via PayPal, Cash App, or the Super Chat. Support the channel.
And police say several members of a Venezuelan gang were arrested for trafficking guns into our area during an operation in the Bronx yesterday.
3 were indicted today, and police say it's the first of its kind gun trafficking operation. Jennifer Bisram was in the courtroom and has the latest from police.
NYPD detectives has successfully intercepted and shut down a significant Tren de Aragua pipeline of guns into New York City.
Operation Train Derail, a gang and gun trafficking takedown in the Bronx and Manhattan Tuesday. Police say several members of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua were arrested and 34 firearms were seized, including semi-automatic pistols, a ghost gun, and 2 assault rifles.
They bought from friendly states. They relied on use of rental vehicles to come up the iron pipeline and sell them to people in the city of New York. All 10 of them are charged with conspiracy to possess and sell illegal firearms in New York City.
NYPD Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch and Queens District Attorney Melinda Katz say it was a year-long operation. They say many of the transactions were in Queens, in residential and shopping areas in broad daylight.
Several of the indictments.
So they're selling guns in broad daylight.
Yo, it was a year-long investigation, but they just so happened to do the bust a week after Trump becomes the president.
Maybe they couldn't until he freed up, gave them the freedom to move or something.
No, my point is Biden clearly didn't give a fuck. He made it explicit under his rule.
Yeah, Biden would have released them the next day.
That's probably what it is. They wanted to make sure they could keep him.
Yeah.
I bet.
Crazy.
Defendants are also indicted on charges of selling and possessing 2C of pink cocaine.
CBS News New York cameras in the courtroom as 2 of the defendants, 27-year-old Roland Meza and 24-year-old Rosemary Sanchez, a mother of an infant who prosecutors say helped to negotiate some of the deals, were arraigned.
And she posted an Instagram story of the pre-recorded buy money fanned out alongside her infant resting on top of that money.
Officials say this is video advertising the sale of illegal guns.
This comes on the heels of the NYPD's participation in yesterday morning's action with our federal partners.
And the defendants in court today pled not guilty. If convicted, they face a minimum of 25 years in prison. They remain behind bars. Their next court date, March 12th. From the Queens County Criminal Courthouse in Kew Gardens, Jennifer Bisram, CBS News, New York.
Okay, Alexa, thank you. 7:46, everybody. In Homeland Security doubling down on mass deportations. We're expecting more ICE raids throughout the area today.
Federal agents making more than 1,000 arrests in 24 hours, sparking confusion over who's being targeted.
Of the 3,500 arrests ICE has made so far since President Trump came back into office, can you just tell us the numbers? How many have a criminal record versus those who are just in the country illegally?
All of them, because they illegally broke our nation's laws and therefore they are criminals as far as this administration goes.
Simple
The
enough.
White House reportedly implementing a quota system requiring ICE agents to make 75 arrests per day.
Staten Island Congresswoman Nicole Maliotakis praising the mass deportations, and she joins us this morning to explain why. So, Congresswoman, great to have you here. Thanks for being back.
Good to be with you. Thank you.
So initially, the White House said, Congresswoman, that the focus of the raids would be violent criminals, right? But based on what the White House press secretary said yesterday, it seems like that's now expanding to include anybody here that has crossed the border illegally. So do you agree with that assessment?
Well, it's my understanding that they are targeting criminals. So I have not heard of individuals who are not criminals being detained. In fact, when you look at the list that I saw, I mean, it's really horrible people. You have somebody who was wanted for murder in his home country of the Dominican Republic, 2 murders, by the way. You had gang members and leaders. You have individuals who convicted drunk driver. These are hardened criminals or dangerous people that are a threat to others here in our city, and they need to be removed. We know, I mean, people know that there have been thousands of crimes committed by people in this country illegally in New York City alone. And these individuals are dangerous, and we need to make sure that they are detained and deported, period. And so I do appreciate what the Trump administration is doing. I think it's very troublesome and problematic that the previous administration allowed these individuals to come in, and that cities like ours were using our tax dollars to put these individuals in luxury hotel rooms. It's ludicrous. And when they were arrested for these crimes, by the way, they were released back onto the streets because of New York's ridiculous bail law. And then they go right back to the luxury hotel room that you and I are paying for. That makes no sense. And I'm glad that President Trump has stepped in here to shut this down, because it got totally out of control. And people in our city were afraid. That's the bottom line. People want to see these criminals deported.
So one of my questions that I've had is, we've seen most of these raids taking place in blue cities. Are we going to see the same raids take place, let's say, at farms in Middle America? Because we've heard concerns from those farmers who say if they let those laborers go, America would be without food in less than 2 days.
Well, again, I don't believe that this administration is looking to just deport anybody. They are focused on the criminals. And that is why they're focused on the blue cities, because the blue cities are the ones that have harbored these criminals and have refused to cooperate with ICE to deport them. Remember, we had people who assaulted our NYPD officers. They were released back onto the streets. ICE had to go get them. And it makes it much more dangerous for these ICE agents, these law enforcement officials, when they have to go into communities and find these individuals.
Hey,
this is crazy.
That Indian looking lady, she's lying. That's not true. It's just our food supply ending in like 2 days. If they were to deport the migrants or some shit, it's just bullshit.
Yeah, we got a mass shooting here in Memphis. Wow.
Oh, what, the school shooting?
And now to a breaking news update here in the Mid-South. 5 people are shot. 2 have died. The shooting taking place inside an apartment in the Soulsville area of South Memphis off College Park Drive. Earlier today, we saw hundreds gathered at Regional 1 checking on their loved ones.
And that's where we find our Brian Didlake. And Brian, what do you know? You've been covering this since early this afternoon.
Yeah, that's correct, Greg. Stephanie, we were told by Memphis police that every single victim involved in this shooting were adults. In fact, if you look here behind me here at Regional 1, we have seen several family members and friends of the shooting victims come in and out of the hospital. We do see a few lingering outside that was in that large crowd earlier. Officers say there is no further danger to the public.
Right now indicates that it was contained inside the residence.
Memphis police say they're still trying to understand who fired the shots and why, calling it an isolated shooting in a Soulsville neighborhood off College Park Drive. Officers say 5 people were shot, 3 critically wounded and transported to a nearby hospital. One of the victims was a woman, the other 2 are men. Officers say 2 other men died.
The preliminary information indicates that there was some type of disturbance inside of the residence that led to an exchange of gunfire.
The shooting drawing nearly 100 people to Regional 1 where the victims were taken. While the crowd is dispersing, there were some tense moments here at Region 1 as families and loved ones of the 5 shooting victims out in College Park came to this area. And if you look over here, we're seeing a line of officers guarding the front entrance of Region 1, telling people to get on the sidewalk and not block the entrance as they are waiting to hear the status of their loved ones. The incident also alarmed nearby Lamont Owen College. In a statement, the college said the incident did not involve or impact Lamont Owen College students, faculty, or staff. Officers say as they continue their investigation, the public's help will be needed.
If you have cameras in the area, you can connect to our system at connecttomemphis.org.
And now at this moment, we are still gathering and verifying the names of the
Soulsville. This is Soulsville. 5 shot and 2 killed in Soulsville.
You know it.
College Park. Oh, you know Soulsville?
No, I just the like seems to always be related. You know, it's College Park seems almost like MLK or some shit to me.
Wow, just wacky shit. Sons don't want to hear about that.
A Rochester man will spend the rest of his life behind bars for the murder of his former employer, Jessica Romlick. The fatal shooting took place in Gates in 2023. At the time, the gunman, Malik Black, was on parole for a murder conviction in the 90s. News 8's Ryan Hermanette brings us the emotional scene from the courtroom today. Ryan.
Hi, Teresa. The victim's brother and husband were in the courtroom during this sentencing, and they were both visibly upset and remained devastated by what happened to Jessica Romlick. The prosecution said following Black's time working for Romlick at Everdry Waterproofing in Gates, he texted her asking for a $3,500 loan, which Romlick declined at that time. Now,
I get a $3,500 loan. Yikes.
Loan was you pay back a loan. He ain't gonna pay that back. So
was he gonna kill her either way? Whether she gave him the money or not.
She would have had the cash. He would have robbed her and killed her. Salute to Kimberly Ashcraft, man. She says, us get that White House press pass. You can show those idiots from mainstream media how it's done. Yeah, I think they're going to be giving them to people like Brandon Tatum, Black Assertive Perspective.
Yeah, ABL get the press pass.
A lot of those bigger platforms. I don't know if Mark Dice will get one, but a lot of those big ones, like so many people. There's so many channels on YouTube that got so many subscribers that I mean, I don't know. I don't think I'm even on the radar like that, man.
Later on September 30th of 2023, as Romlick was leaving work, Black shot and killed her in the parking lot, taking her diamond ring and cash. Now, prosecutors say Black's intention was to use these for gambling. Black, formerly known as Ernest Dunham, previously served 27 years in prison for another murder in 1993.
That fool did 27 years in prison, came home, and did this.
Changed his name.
Just like you said, did that shit standing on his head.
27 years, man. Just, yo. I can remember 1990. So he did 90 to 2020. I remember 1990. God, that was a long fucking time ago, man. Motherfuckers just missed whole decades in prison.
And it wasn't like he, went to right a terrible wrong in his past by killing somebody who wronged him a long time ago. He murdered a bitch over some fucking gambling money.
Yeah.
Like, I could get that. I could understand that.
Yeah, gambling is a disease, but god damn, man. Murder is
crack
too.
And drinking and,
Yeah, murder's a disease.
And was out on parole at the time of this murder. Special Assistant DA Hillary Langdon told me outside the courtroom today, a situation like this one frustrates and saddens her, not just for the Romlick family, but the larger Rochester family.
I think as a community, we can absolutely be frustrated that the fact that a person murdered someone, and here we are again, for the murder of Jessica Romlick. We lost Mr. Rogers back in the 90s, and here we are again. We've lost 2 members of our Rochester community to the senseless act of violence at the hands of Malik Black.
Now, also inside the courtroom today was Romlich's husband, John, and her brother, both devastated for each other and their family as a whole, who Jessica had a large, lasting impact on. Now, Judge Renzi also...
She's a white girl. Yeah, the girl he killed was a white girl, you can tell. Wow.
The Lynn teenager is in ICE custody following a fight with her younger brother. A neighbor, hearing all of this commotion, called police to report a domestic disturbance. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Priscilla Casper.
And I'm Colton Bradford. Now, many locals were under the impression that ICE would only target violent criminals. NBC 10's Oscar Margain is live for us from the State House.
Only the violent ones.
Oscar, good evening to you. What's the relation between this case that is playing out in Lynn and the demonstration that was outside of Beacon Hill today?
Well, Colton, the pro-immigrant groups that were at the rally today say that the recent rhetoric by the president and the recent operations by ICE is causing confusion, misinformation, even fear among the immigrant community about the role between local police and ICE. Now, the family we spoke to exclusively in Lynn say that they share that fear that the immigration agents are going to be going after the rest of their family after their daughter was taken by ICE after that issue and disturbance call
your whole
over
family
at
here
their
illegally?
home between her and her brother.
Yo no quiero quedarme en este país sin mi hija.
Zenaida Hernandez is holding back tears, pleading with federal immigration authorities to release her daughter or allow her to be deported along with her. 18-year-old Zenaida Barrera was arrested by Lynn police on Monday after responding to a domestic disturbance call.
Comenzó una discusión de hermanos.
Her stepfather says she and her 12-year-old brother were arguing over a cell phone. The police report says the boy was pushed to the ground. That same morning, the teen was taken to court to see a judge, but to her lawyer's surprise, she was taken by ICE.
It's unusual for ICE to take an individual into custody who has legal status here in this country.
Lynn Mayor Jared Nicholson assures his police department does not ask about a person's immigration status and worries these cases will hurt public trust.
If ICE wants to really partner with communities on public safety, that they need to be able to look at all of the circumstances.
Let's pass the Safe Communities Act.
Meanwhile, at Beacon Hill, a group of legislators and pro-immigrant groups rallied in favor of the Safe Communities Act, which would prohibit the collaboration between local police and ICE.
There is a lot of fear, but also a lot of lack of
that'll keep us
Damaris
safe.
Velasquez with Agencia Alpha says the bill would also provide legal assistance to immigrants and help inform people of their rights. But former Bristol County Sheriff Tom Hodgson argues the bill provides cover for people who are violating the law, when it should be encouraging people to help authorities call in suspected threats.
ICE ought to be the ones, the final authority as to who is supposed to be in this country legally and who isn't.
Now, going back to that Lynn case, now it is unclear right now who is it who called ICE to the courthouse. Now, the teen, we're being told, is currently being held in Maine by ICE. Now, we made multiple attempts to reach ICE, but all those attempts have gone unanswered. They have not said if they will be releasing this teenager at any time or at any point. Now, as far as that community safety bill, it's unclear here when that is going to get a vote, but sponsors here are hoping it will get a vote soon and that it will eventually pass. Reporting live in Boston, Oscar Margain, NBC 10 Boston.
Two dangerous suspects, an accused rapist and an accused killer, are on the run tonight, each wanted on felony arrest warrants after failing to show up in court. One King County judge, Johanna Bender, is responsible for setting them free. Now, in a Fox 13 News Spotlight exclusive, the family of one of the victims and the Renton police chief are demanding answers. Dashcam video from September 7th at about 10:03 p.m. shows the seconds leading up to the hit-and-run homicide of 60-year-old Tim Gerchmez. 19-year-old Urias Morales Perez was on the way home from a birthday party in his 2002 Honda Civic. He stopped at the intersection of Airport Way and Rainier Avenue South, waiting for the red light to turn. Tim starts walking through the crosswalk. The light changes, but Morales Perez waits several seconds before he suddenly accelerates, making a left turn, hitting Tim, knocking him up onto the windshield, smashing it. He was hit 2 days before his mom was scheduled to visit.
He didn't even tap on his brake after he hit my son with his car. He just kept going and went home.
He was located a short time later by our officers, obviously intoxicated.
Renton Fire tried to save Tim's life, but he died at Harborview Medical Center. Prosecutors charged Morales Perez with vehicular homicide and hit-and-run felony. It was his second hit-and-run. Bail was initially set at $100,000. But then, at his arraignment 2 weeks later, Judge Johanna Bender agreed to lower it to $10,000, with only $1,000 cash needed to post bond. She made that decision before realizing that Tim's sister and mother had joined the court hearing via Zoom.
Were there any other conditions that the state wanted to address?
Yes, before the victim's family was on Zoom, and they also wanted to speak.
Oh, of course. I apologize.
Beth McIntyre argued against releasing Morales Perez.
I feel, and I think my family feels, that he remains a danger to the community and should stay in jail so he doesn't kill anybody else until his sentencing. I didn't even want him to have an ankle monitor. He killed somebody. He should have been in jail until his sentencing.
Judge Bender stood by her decision.
The law requires that I presume that anybody accused of a crime is innocent unless and until they are convicted or plead guilty. And related to that, the law requires that I presume that people should be released from jail before trial.
So I don't think it mattered what we said or if we were even on the call.
Phyllis and Beth say releasing a homicide suspect on low bail sends a message that human life doesn't matter.
This is craziness.
And is your fear not only that you don't have any sense of even some closure, but also that he might hurt other people?
Well, that was the biggest thing is I was like, why would you let a young 19-year-old go that killed a 60-year-old man and then not expect him to do it again?
The next month, Morales Perez was back in court, where prosecutors asked Judge Bender to remand him to jail because the county had a backlog on setting up his electronic home alcohol monitor. She ruled it's not his fault and denied the request to hold him.
So I'm going to allow your client to remain in the community, and in a significant exercise of trust on my part, I am going to believe that he is going to continue to engage in the good law-abiding behavior that he has been engaging in.
Then on November 8th, Morales Perez failed to show up for a plea hearing, so a $200,000 warrant was issued for his arrest. Out of concern for the safety of his community, Renton Police Chief John Schultz emailed this letter to Judge Bender challenging the comments she made in court, writing, "Good law-abiding behavior. Let's not forget he killed a member of our community while operating a motor vehicle impaired," and asking for clarification on her decision. So I can explain to my community, can you please help me understand the logic of allowing Mr. Perez to be free pending trial? I feel as though his behavior has been minimized at the expense of public safety.
Was there something on our end that she was looking at that maybe held a problem for him being held in custody?
And what response did you get?
I got no response back.
This wasn't the first time Renton police have arrested a dangerous suspect, only to see Judge Bender set them free.
Oh, hell no. Oh, my God, bro. You guys blind.
Jamari Wilson was finally caught by the Violent Crime Unit after a year on the run. He cut off his GPS tracker after Judge Bender released him from jail on electronic home monitoring. He's back in jail now.
That's one rough-looking son, man. Jesus Christ.
Goddamn.
For real. For real. Not the guy you would want living next to you.
You got conservative in the back.
We got enough of these motherfuckers in America. We can't take any more. He's in the back? No, he ain't back there no more.
Oh, all right, he was.
Enough of these. Salute to Eric Asman. He says, it's a sad day in aviation. I've been an aviation lover since my first flight in 1999. I love plane spotting at DFW and on YouTube. Yeah, I like watching. I be watching shows about planes, aviation, and shit all the time, man. It's just amazing. Planes are just so amazing to me how they like it's 3,000 planes in U.S. airspace at any given moment. It's crazy. Just a lot of fucking flights.
Chicago,
we'll get back to
that overhead all the time.
Yeah, we'll get back to that. Planes fly over my house all the time. Like where I'm at in Pennsylvania, like it's like directly in line to the airport. It's a little small little airport. Planes always fly over my house. Probably like I would say about 1,000, maybe 1,000 to 2,000 feet. So we're real close to the airport. Like we're probably like 20 miles from the airport.
You've never gone like 5,000 feet, 6,000 feet up high?
Huh?
Have you ever gone real high up in a plane, like 6,000?
6,000 is
More like 30,000.
30,
Yeah,
yeah.
30,000.
That's what I couldn't get the number right, but that's what I'm at.
Yeah, we're not that real. I'm talking about like, yeah, when you above the clouds, man, it's an awesome feeling. I'm gonna check in on that plane crash in a second, man. Let me just see what this fucking guy's up to, man.
On $350,000 bail, charged with new gun crimes. And then there's Jose Lopez. Renton police arrested him for rape second degree. Judge Bender gave him electronic home monitoring. He disabled it and hasn't been seen since.
Yeah, I think it really thwarts the trust in the justice system when our community sees it's almost like a revolving door of we're arresting these violent criminals and then they're allowed and released back out on the street.
While judicial rules prohibit judges from doing interviews about their decisions, Judge Bender did address criticism she's received. Her comments came at a hearing last October to increase Keshawn Jemerson's bail. He's accused of killing a handyman. Judge Bender told the suspect's mother she...
What's that?
A handyman?
This is
Come on.
Washington State, right?
Yeah, this place is about 30 minutes. It's right south of Seattle. You leave
It's a string of
Seattle,
sunmen and umbritos murking people and graping and.
Umbritos do a lot of graping. There's a lot of that, man.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
And released back out on the street.
While judicial rules prohibit judges from doing interviews about their decisions, Judge Bender did address criticism she's received.
Oh yeah, she's definitely LGBT.
Criticism she's received. Her comments came at a hearing last October to increase Keshawn Jemerson's bail. He's accused of killing a handyman. Judge Bender told the suspect's mother she empathized with her.
This hearing isn't about me, but I will share with you that I often get death threats based on the decisions that I make, which is equally frustrating to me because I'm trying to do my job.
It's not about you. You're a judge. Act professional.
That was completely like you got somebody in your courtroom who lost their fucking loved one to a fucking sun turd in a violent crime, and you talking about I get death threats. Well, shut the fuck up. This was disgusting right there.
It should not be the responsibility of any member
She's an
of the
activist,
public to threaten
proudly.
my life because I am trying to uphold the law. So I am very empathetic to the situation that the family finds themselves in.
Why is she on the suspect side rather than the victim?
Tim's family doubts
She
they'll
hates
ever
white
get justice for his hit-and-run death. Renton police say they believe Morales Perez has fled to Mexico. Phyllis says when Judge
at least you got one to self-deport. All it costs is one white life,
You
man.
saw the wind change.
Bender released him for 10 days with no ankle bracelet, it gave him time to plan his escape.
I think she should be removed from the bench. I'm sure she's done a lot more harm than good.
That's a challenge in Washington State. Judge Bender.
Jeez, look at her. She just looks like
Bro.
so woke.
How do they release the guy who committed rape? Like, what the fuck?
These people look.
That just makes no sense to me. Like, lady, guy, whatever the fuck you are, like, yo, how do you?
She thinks she's doing the right thing too. Like you can't tell her that, and she's probably more adamant now that Trump's in office. She's probably like double down.
Yeah, double down.
Like fighting. Like I have to fight harder for my
Bro.
my pulpit as a judge. I have to fight harder for POCs.
Bender was appointed by Governor Inslee in 2015 and later elected to the bench. Superior Court judges are not subject to voter recall like other elected officials. Families like Tim's can file a complaint with the Judicial Conduct Commission. They can recommend that a judge be suspended, but the state Supreme Court makes the final ruling. In his letter to Judge Bender, Chief Schultz writes, I understand that it's your discretion to set bail for those suspects that are seen in your court. I also know that several considerations should be made in that determination, such as severity of the charges, risk to the public, and prior criminal history.
They should look at the safety to the community when making these decisions. I think what we're seeing is a lot of empathy shown towards the suspects, and without that same lens looking at how it affects either the victims of the crime, the families of the victims, or the community at large.
As of this month, Judge Bender is no longer presiding over cases in Superior Court. As part of their normal rotation, she's now one of the judges in Juvenile Court, where we will continue to track her decisions affecting community safety.
Well, actually, I think the guy she hit was probably a homeless guy, and people don't care about homeless people. So the judge probably felt the same way.
You know, our governor in Florida here, DeSantis, he suspended like a few judges who kept letting people go for serious crimes. And guess who the judges were? Sun women.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I remember that the DA, he had to get rid of the DA too.
Yeah,
one of the black woman district attorneys.
Yeah, he kicked them out because they kept letting people go for serious shit like drive-bys or possession of a gun or shooting. Like
they're not fit for black women. Aren't fit for no women in general, but black women are not fit.
Yeah.
For,
I don't think any women should have power.
Yeah. Criminal justice system. Like if you're a black woman and you grew up in America, your victimology and victimhood shit you subscribe to, and
it's a pathology.
Yeah, all that stuff. You can't. There's no way you can divorce yourself from that.
Yeah. Because they look at these fucking young son men talking about, oh, that could be my son. Yada yada, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and even if they can stand up for themselves, you know that their friends will cut them off and they'll face social repercussions in their circles. And I think to women, that's what gets a lot of them.
Yeah, women are conformists. Women do not like the
they don't like competition.
They like to go with the grain, the consensus. They go with the consensus in a group. So like, yeah.
That's true.
The Baby King, man. My man Baby King coming through heavy. Shout out to Baby King. He said, take the pledge. How can I send you what I want to say? Oh, how can I send
email?
You can do PayPal, Cash App, or Super Chat, or you can email me. Email me at Ocnation. Let me put it in the no, not Ocnation. Ocnatunde Live at 2@gmail.com.
Okay, but I was so proud of our governor in Florida when he did that because he made a public announcement that these judges, they gotta go. And when he read off why, I understood 100%. Like, yeah, why are you letting these guys go who are shooting at places, shooting at people, who got a bunch of guns in the car? Like, these are dangerous people. And they were all Sun women too. They weren't like Latinas or gliders. They were all Sun women letting go of Sun men.
Yeah, because they can't. That could be my son. That could be my son.
Shockwaves through the city. A man pushed in front of an oncoming train on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, the disturbing incident happening at the West 18th Street station in Manhattan, and it was all caught on video. Here's a look moments before Joe Linsky was pushed. Tonight, he shares his emotional story, sitting down with our Anthony DiLorenzo.
I still don't know how to tell us, huh? I mean, even if he tell us, how the fuck?
In Manhattan, and it was all caught on video. Here's a look moments before Joe Linsky was pushed. Tonight, he shares his emotional story, sitting down with our Anthony DiLorenzo, who joins us now in studio. Hi there, Anthony.
Shirley and Corey, good evening to both of you. This is the first and only interview that Joe Linsky agreed to give to a local TV station because he wants people to see and hear about his ordeal nearly a month ago, hours before the new year, as the city still grapples with an age-old problem underground. It's been 29 days since Joe Linsky was almost murdered on New Year's Eve. But his life was spared by a fraction of a second.
I was not meant to die that day.
The 45-year-old was in Chelsea getting ready to ring in 2025, hopping a train home to Brooklyn.
The arrival clock said it was coming in 1 minute.
Then, without warning, everything changed. This video, he says, while disturbing, gives him a sense of empowerment because he survived.
I felt the hardest shove, and I was flying through the air, and then I smacked my head in between the tracks and landed on the ground.
So the train didn't actually hit you?
It missed me by probably a fraction of a second.
Wow. That's remarkable.
Yes, very, very lucky.
Wait, I don't understand. What?
He just landed on the ground, and
it didn't crush
he
him.
survived.
It didn't crush him.
That timing is insane.
Very.
It looked like it went over.
It couldn't have been any later.
It certainly is an age-old problem. Certainly as old as the country.
You know, he's one lucky bastard.
As old as subways, or
he better play the lotto today.
Jeez, this fucking guy.
Better stay away from Sunmen on the platform.
real.
Very lucky.
The suspect was ultimately arrested and charged with attempted murder. And he said nothing?
There was no warning.
Joe regained consciousness under the train, FDNY members rescuing him, and so began his long road to recovery.
4 broken ribs, a fractured skull, a ruptured spleen.
After spending a week in the hospital, his days are filled with doctor's appointments, getting physical and emotional therapy. 26 people were shoved onto the tracks last year. His attorney, Bruce Nagel, is preparing a civil lawsuit against the MTA and city. As a result of this and other high-profile subway assaults, there is a new safety effort ongoing underground.
The city, the MTA, the police department, they've all known about this. They've done nothing until now.
Joe says the flashbacks and trauma are too much to get back on the subway right now. His beloved dog, Leo, and the prospect of getting back on the tennis court is helping him with the biggest match of his life.
There's a lot of good in this world, and I've always known that, and it's something I've experienced greatly over the past month.
He is optimistic, but Joe was horrified to hear about yet another person being shoved into a moving train earlier this week. His attorney does plan on filing their notice of intent to sue for negligence this week. Julian Corey.
Well, they probably don't get charged. Fuck.
And Anthony, you mentioned that Joe's random attack was a motivating factor for the governor to take this all hands-on approach. It's only been a couple weeks, but has the extra and added police presence made a difference?
You know, I took a look at some of those crime numbers this afternoon and found within the last 28 days, major felony crimes are down about a third. However, when you take a look at misdemeanor assaults in transit, they are up also by the same amount. And a lot of times, those misdemeanor assaults lead to something even worse next time.
Well, all right, good information for us. And
not really. It's pretty useless.
Oh man. Wow. Let's see. That's all the stories. Let's see. Man, that shit's crazy, man.
Thank you for being here with us at 11 o'clock. I'm Lorenzo Hall.
It has been a long night, and it is destined to be a very long one. I'm Leslie Foster. We've got team coverage for you as we work to piece together what happened here. Alexis Wainwright, Matt Gregory, and Larry Miller are all on this story for us tonight. It is all hands on deck here for us here at WUSA 9. Our Larry Miller is live at Reagan National Airport, where we know there are no flights coming in or going out. And there were quite an effort to get the people who were stuck there out of there and off on their way to Dulles Airport.
Well, absolutely, Leslie and Lorenzo. I want to let you know, maybe about 5 minutes ago, I just wrapped up one of the most heartbreaking interviews of my professional career. A gentleman, along with another family member, was waiting to get information on his wife, that was on that.
Oh man, that's terrible, man. You waiting there? Oh my God.
Well, absolutely, Leslie and Lorenzo. I want to let you know, maybe about 5 minutes ago, I just wrapped up one of the most heartbreaking interviews of my professional career. A gentleman, along with another family member, was waiting to get information on his wife, that was on that American Airlines flight coming from Wichita, Kansas, into Reagan National. He showed me the text message, that the last one that he received from his 26-year-old wife, where she said that she was preparing to land in about 20 minutes. And that was the last message that he received from her. I asked him what's going through his mind. How is he feeling? And you can see him visibly shocked. We're working on trying to get that sound turned around.
Young wife too. He was a young man. They got their whole life ahead of them. What if they had kids?
On it in studio. Once you guys get that sound prepared, let me know and I'll certainly toss to it. But it was heartbreaking to hear what this man was going through. I asked him what sort of information had he received from the airline. He said nothing. Anything from investigators? Nothing. He said it wasn't until he looked on social media that he realized something had happened, and he brought his way down here to the airport. We have that sound ready. Let's take a listen.
I'm just praying that somebody's pulling her out of the river right now as we speak. That's all I can pray for. I'm just praying to God.
When was the last time you spoke with her?
She texted me that they were landing in 20 minutes.
Can you show us a text message that you got from her?
Wow.
Landing in 20 minutes. The rest of my text did not get delivered. That's when I realized something might be up.
They make you cut off your phone when they were getting ready to land, don't they?
Well, you shouldn't. I mean, technically speaking, you shouldn't have any kind of cellular transmission, which would include texting. 20 minutes from landing, you shouldn't be transmitting at all on the flight. Not that I'm saying that it really matters.
What does that do? What do they say? What will happen?
I mean, I don't know exactly, but I think there's the potential for interference with, communication devices that the plane uses to communicate with the ground and that kind of thing. If there's a lot of transmissions going on from the plane, I can imagine that, that might make things more complicated in certain circumstances.
It interferes with the electronics of the plane.
Dang.
That's when he realized something might be up, when he didn't get a response from his wife who was on that plane. I asked him about his wife. He said that she went to Wichita, Kansas for work, and that she always had a fear of flying, that she never really was comfortable. And tonight he is waiting desperately for answers. He's by his phone, trying to talk with anyone that could potentially give him some information. I told him the little bit of information that we had and provided that to him. But you saw him along with another family member pacing this terminal 2, trying to get answers about his wife that was on that American Airlines flight. Guys.
That gentleman that you talked with reminds us that the plane crashed, but dreams crashed, hopes crashed, lives crashed. So much happened when that plane did not land on runway 33 like it was supposed to tonight.
Now at 11, breaking news. A commercial jet and military helicopter collide over the Potomac River in Washington, D.C. And right now, a massive emergency response as crews search for survivors. Good evening to you. I'm Christine Johnson. The details are just coming into our newsroom. And as we gather information, here's what we know right now. The American Eagle flight went down just before 9 p.m. tonight as it was attempting to land at Reagan International Airport. American Airlines says there were 60 passengers and 4 crew members on board. The FAA says that it did collide with a military helicopter with 3 military members on board. This all happened as the jet was trying to land at Reagan Washington National Airport, the American Airlines flight coming in from Wichita, Kansas. We have team coverage here for you, and we'd like to begin with Jessica Moore. She is live in Arlington, Virginia, with what she's been able to gather so far. Jessica?
Christine, just to set the scene for you, massive emergency response, as you said. If you look behind me, you see the flashing lights, dozens and dozens of emergency responders. That body of water behind me, that is the Potomac River, where the National Weather Service says the water is currently 35 degrees. There, if Christy can just pan over to the right a bit, that's Reagan Airport. We're all familiar with it. You see the control tower in the back. Here's what we know right now. American Airlines Flight 5342 from Wichita was attempting to land at Reagan when it collided in the air with an Army Black Hawk helicopter. CBS News has learned both the commercial jet and the helicopter crashed into the Potomac River. This is video from EarthCam. Looking at the airport, we're highlighting the video showing that explosive crash. The collision happened just before 9 p.m. CBS News has confirmed 60 passengers and 4 crew members on board the plane. Divers right now searching the river for any possible survivors. The American Airlines plane was trying to land here on runway 33 when the collision happened. Right now, multiple agencies are involved in the rescue mission. Multiple sources tell me the Black Hawk was a DV transport, which is typically used for military VIPs. As we've now confirmed, those soldiers
That
were
is
on
interesting.
board.
So, okay.
Sources tell me the chopper.
That picture you showed earlier, I said that wasn't a Black Hawk, but somebody else pointed out that it was a transport variant of it, and it did look like one that was, you know, used for. I mean, it looked like fucking Marine One or something, like the helicopter that the president flies in.
Somebody important.
Who was in the helicopter?
That is
Somebody
pretty
important was in it.
interesting. That it is that. You know, I will say that.
It might not be nobody famous, but it's probably somebody important.
Took off from CIA headquarters in Langley, Virginia, and PSA Airlines was operating the plane for American Airlines. Right now, as you can imagine, all takeoffs and landings at Reagan have been completely suspended, and the NTSB confirms to CBS News it is preparing a go team to respond to this crash. We're live in Arlington. Jessica Moore, CBS News, New York.
Jessica, it is.
Hey, that's crazy. Shit, man.
Any other breaking news out there?
I'd like to hear some aviation experts because I know YouTube's got them.
This is another live look at the scene right now by
Has
Reagan
this ever
National
happened?
Airport. Again, the airport is closed. Not surprising, given what has happened.
I
This,
watch a lot of, Mentor. Do you know Mentor? That's the website Mentor. It's like a European guy. He does the like by the autopsy of plane crashes. Mentor. Mentor.
No, I never heard of that. Go ahead.
Anyway,
Yeah, I've seen him a few times.
yeah, he I've never the only one I've seen where it collided like in midair was a Russian one. Russian plane collided with like a UPS package carrying plane or something.
Well,
Yeah, Russia's had a lot of mishaps in the air.
There have been a lot of air collisions in the United States throughout history. It's not, it's certainly more common in other places now, but
I mean, a military helicopter crashing into a landing plane.
yeah,
Has that ever happened before?
no, not that I recall, for sure.
Yeah, but a plane collide with anything is rare.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
rare in the
sure.
sense that it's statistically
But
speaking,
let's focus
planes
on
not flying.
this
Yeah, it's definitely rare.
story.
Yeah, this one right here. This is going to be. I think a lot of people just don't understand how, like DC, how many like air like military shit is in the.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of VIPs coming and going. That's true.
Yeah, it's a lot of shit going on.
still and a very active scene at this hour.
Yeah, no question. We want to bring in ABC's aviation analyst John Nance, and John, it's good to see you, but not under these circumstances. You've covered so many crashes in your career. Tell us what you're thinking about this, based on what you saw, based on a helicopter right behind that passenger plane, and how did they crash? What's your thoughts?
Well, you've got a classic mid-air collision here, two airplanes trying to occupy the same space, and how that happened.
It's not two
one of the
airplanes.
tragedies here is this is one of the most controlled pieces of airspace in the world because it's right adjacent to the Capitol and to downtown Washington, D.C. A controller was talking to both pilots, but how in the world they came to misunderstand or somebody misunderstood a command, that's one of the things that's going to have to be sorted out. Hopefully we'll be able to get the flight data recorder and the cockpit voice recorder. But this is one of those accidents that we're not talking about blame. We're talking about how in the world does one aircraft end up in the path of the other aircraft. That's going to be the key point because we didn't have anything.
Because usually they don't have them on the same. Usually airplanes are always crisscrossing, but they're never on the same altitude. So like
right,
an
unless
airplane
something
can go.
goes wrong, they are frequently very close to each other. Is what's been happening a lot recently. That they fly extremely close.
And
and
close
almost
is relative too. Close is relative.
I mean,
it's like a mile is close for two planes.
no, way closer than that. Like less than 100 feet in some cases.
Wow.
Wow.
Obviously.
Wow, that's crazy.
Wrong with either bird. And to have an Army Black Hawk, which is a very, very sophisticated airplane, involved in this is also extremely worrisome.
You know, John, over the last few years, there's been a lot of conversations about close calls. We report on them more often than we would like, and concerns about air traffic controllers, whether or not there's enough, whether or not they're getting the support they need. You know, where does all this factor into this equation as we take a look at what happened here near Reagan National?
What's up?
Good question.
Well, as we look at this, one of the things, of course, that is absolutely true. We talk quite a bit in the media about near misses that are really kind of a mile and a half, or maybe a half a mile, and they violated the basic provisions of not getting air traffic close to each other. But this was not one of those situations. This is just a brought-on collision, and as I say, one of the most controlled pieces of airspace in the country. So how these two came to be where they were at that particular point in time is going to be one of the major questions that's going to be on the table immediately. And of course, everything will be looked at. The other thing that's really worrisome is this is very much like the January 12th, 1982 collision, or not collision, but the flight that could not sustain flight after takeoff from Palm 90, which was a 737 that hit the 14th Street Bridge. And the reason I bring that up is because there were survivors.
That bridge is named after that guy. Whatever, I forgot the name of that guy. One guy who survived and he was helping people and then he died. That bridge right there is named after
the accident to the extent that they were underwater, but they drowned essentially because of the cold water, because of the inability to rescue anybody else, and that was something that we have here, very much reminiscent in terms of the water temperature, which is just a little bit above freezing.
John, we hear so much about collision avoidance systems, and certainly the Black Hawk helicopter would have one. Certainly the passenger plane would have one. What happened here? What did it not go in? Was it too low to go in?
I think that probably what we're going to find is that this helicopter probably did not have a system that you described here, which is basically collision avoidance, TCAS we call it. Yeah. And it probably came in from an angle in such a way that the TCAS wouldn't have had time to give a climb or descend warning to the pilots. We just don't know at this point. Black Hawks are extremely sophisticated, but they are not normally in civilian airspace, and therefore they don't have necessarily the same level of equipment.
Yeah, good point.
John,
then what was it doing in civilian airspace?
Who's following this story?
They said it was transporting a VIP. It could have been. That's what they used for.
Well, hold up. It said it was a vehicle that is commonly used to do that, but they didn't say that that was what it was doing.
Well, there was 3 total members in the aircraft. 2 of them, the pilot, co-pilot, and then the VIP, I assume.
Yeah.
for us tonight. He want to bring him back into the conversation with a question for you. Josh.
Well, John, it's good to talk to you. I know I've heard a lot of pilots over the years talk about how Reagan National, not unlike LaGuardia, is just a tricky airport to fly into. It's busy, it's congested, the runways are short. One thing I've also noticed always is the presence of these military helicopters that are all over the place because of the nature of where this is. Could you talk a little bit about, as a pilot, what you're looking at when you're coming into Reagan National in particular, and is it just too complicated for passenger flight given all the military operations there?
Well, the military operations are always subservient to the interests of security for the arriving and departing jetliners, and they're under very positive control of air traffic control before they even leave high altitude, aiming or coming into the Washington area. So each one of those helicopters, regardless of what their specific role is, has the responsibility to stay the heck away from the most critical corridors for landing and takeoff, and they do a wonderful job. They're there in some cases as security. They're in other cases for executive transportation for the government. But they have an absolute unshakable duty to stay away from the flight paths of any of the civilian airliners. And that's one of the things that it sounds to me like there was a radio call. We don't know this yet for certain because it's very early, but that the helicopter pilot was told to do something, and whether or not that was done, whether it was an error in the transmission or not, we don't know. But this is one of the last places I would expect to have this kind of a collision, because the folks in our military helicopters are very, very cognizant of how to stay out of the way.
John, you mentioned that you're waiting to hear what actually came out of all the communications. How long does
I hear you? What you say?
I mean, it could easily be that the air traffic control made a mistake and vectored them the wrong way. And that's why this happened, or these both were happening at the same time, right? It may not be either of the pilot's fault necessarily. It could be that they were, executing orders that they were given by air traffic control. And if the helicopter didn't have TCAS, then there's no way for it to understand. I mean, maybe there are ways, but that's the primary way for the aircraft to automatically know it's in proximity to another aircraft and the collision is imminent. And the other aircraft wouldn't know that either. So they're both doing what they think they're supposed to be doing, and the aircraft's not telling them that something's wrong, then they might not know.
Salute to Jimmy Fields Productions, man. Make sure y'all support the channel via PayPal, Cash App, with a super chat, man. Something wrong with your thing, Cool Cat.
Good evening, everyone. We're coming on the air with breaking news: the crash of a major airline flight, the first we've seen in the United States in more than 15 years. Here's where things stand right now. The FAA has confirmed that an American Airlines regional jet carrying 60 passengers and 4 crew members collided with a U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter. The aircraft crashing into the Potomac River. The flight was en route from Wichita, Kansas to Reagan National Airport in Washington when the accident happened just after 9 p.m. Eastern Time. An Army official says preliminary indications are that there were 3 people on board the Black Hawk, the chopper that the jet collided with. Emergency officials say they are coordinating a search and rescue operation in the river. We do not know yet information about casualties. President Trump has also been briefed about what happened. I want to go to Peter Alexander right now. He is on the scene along the river where the search is underway. Peter, have they located or pinpointed the area of where these aircraft went down?
Lester, we can't say with certainty if they have, but let me give you a sense of exactly where we're standing. We are on the Virginia side. We are on the west side of the Potomac River right now. And at this hour, obviously, it is pitch black. But in the distance, if we push the camera in right now, you can see what is basically the southern portion of the Washington Mall, an area known as Haynes Point, familiar to anybody who's been in this area, for a popular public golf course there. And in the last 10 minutes, Lester, we saw those emergency vehicles almost in unison moving south to that place. Their lights are flashing, as you see, but there is a stream of lights all across both sides of the river at this hour. To give you a better understanding of where we are standing right now, we're about half mile to a mile south of DCA, Reagan National Airport along the Potomac. And clearly, this is an urgent effort to try to identify where the plane went down and to try to find any survivors that they can at this time. The water temperature, according to our meteorologist, Bill Cairns, said to be about 35 degrees right now, which means hypothermia sets in perhaps 30 minutes or a little bit longer, which gives, if this took place about an hour, 2 hours ago, a very short window for an.
Yeah, there's nobody that could survive in the water. The 4 people they pulled out early on in the thing, those might be the only people that have a chance to survive.
Effort to try to save anybody here. I got to tell you, Lester, this is a very complex airspace. It's the intersection of the planes that are landing at DCA and also the very protected airspace that is around the Washington Mall, the nation's capital, and the White House as well. We have now heard from President Trump, who I'm told has been briefed as part of this effort. He says, I've been fully briefed on the terrible accident which just took place at Reagan National Airport. May God bless their souls. Thank you for the incredible work being done by our first responders. I am monitoring the situation and will provide more details as they arise. We are also hearing from both the Republican governor of the state of Virginia, the Democratic governor, Wes Moore, of the state of Maryland. They say that they have their state police departments actively involved right now, including from the Maryland side. We are told they are deploying divers to go into the water here with those frigid temperatures as well. Last thing I'll say, Lester, the blessing here is 55 degrees earlier today. This was iced over only a couple of days ago. The river is finally clear as it's thawed out. Back to you.
All right, Peter, thanks very much again. 60 people, 4 passengers, 60 passengers, 4 crew members on board this aircraft that went down. I want to go to Tom Costello, our aviation correspondent. Very busy airspace there. Explain who gets the right of way, if you will, in this area.
Well, Peter made the point. Not only do you have incredible air traffic there going into and out of Reagan Airport, and even though Reagan Airport is not the busiest airport in the country, it has the busiest runway in the country, runway 1. That tells you how much air traffic comes in and out. Now, this plane was coming in to land on the
So they should know planes are fucking coming and not be there.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the first time this has ever happened. So, I mean, it had to have been something freak.
Well, my best theory here is the helicopter was someone was able to control it remotely and flew it into a plane.
Right. Wow. Jeez. That's hella deep, man. Damn.
Man. That's pure evil right there, man.
Wow.
To do that? Damn. That's just evil.
Wow, bro. Jesus Christ.
My mother saw that crash earlier in the news, like in the Spanish news. She told me about it. I'm like, yeah, I'm watching it right here.
They found one guy. They just pulled one guy out of the water. Identified one of the victims. Let me show you him, man. They've identified one of the victims. Let me show you. This guy right here, he was pulled from the water. It says breaking. One body has been recovered in the American Airlines Flight 5342. Matthew Craig Engel has been identified by a nearby rescue team as one of the victims in the crash. He was 33. Damn, man. Bodybuilder, man. He
Looks
probably
like he
was
might have been able to survive it, but I guess not.
bodybuilder, man.
Bodybuilder or not.
I mean, shit got cut in half. There's a lot of people that had no chance of surviving this.
Yeah, that impact, because the fuel is in the wings.
Yeah.
The fuel is in the Yeah, that fireball, like
There's too many things against it right now.
I mean, if you need a helmet for one.
That would probably help, yeah.
Wow, that's fucked up. RIP to dude, man. RIP to Craig Angle, man. Damn. Is this him? This guy, Christian Pack, has been identified by a nearby rescue team as one of the victims. This guy right here. What was it? A lot of bodybuilders on this fucking thing, man. He was 24. He left behind a child. I wonder what who like a convention or something, or like a something. Wichita, I don't know. Wow.
Yeah, they definitely look like they could be friends.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, that just sucks, man. That sucks, man. That sucks. It wasn't no turbulence or nothing like that. So these people weren't even in fear.
No.
They weren't like, you know what I'm saying? It was just like, boom. Jim Croce. This guy right here, great songwriter, Jim Croce. Great singer, man, songwriter. A lot of great songs. He died in a plane crash back in 1973. Damn. Do you understand there's 3,000 planes above U.S. airspace at any given time?
Yeah, it's wild.
So, like, the odds of being in the plane, the fear we have, I have, and a lot of people have when they're on the plane, it's insane because it's like there's so many planes. Like, this plane was coming from Wichita. Think about how many planes are coming from how many different cities in the world into Reagan National at any given time.
And you're relying on a few other people to basically make sure that you survive that flight. And, you know, that's right. Car crashes happen more often, killed more people, but at least people think that, you know, they feel they have a measure of control over that. In a plane, really don't.
Car crashes seem like there's a intuitive, innate feeling that you possibly could survive it. Plane crashes, people feel like they can't survive it. It's the finality of a plane crash, and we've all been in accidents before. You know, car accidents. So
Right.
it's like,
I mean, that's why most people are more afraid of a plane crash than they are of a car crash, even though it happens way less.
oh, so they're blaming Trump. They're saying Trump's dangerous freeze of air traffic control hiring. So they say he froze air traffic control hiring, but they wouldn't do that in DC. If they froze any aircraft, they ain't gonna be DC. They will freeze it, but they wouldn't freeze it for DC airspace. That's too important. That's like everybody.
When did he do that? I don't even remember that happening.
I mean, it wouldn't take effect for a while, anyways. It's just silly.
Yeah. And like I said, that airspace is very important, people. Everybody's there, man. 19 bodies haven't been recovered. So there's still 45 that are still in the river. This will say Democrats are not good people, folks, politicizing the tragic plane crash with statements that don't even make sense when you give it more than 15 seconds of thought. Is depraved. Continue to pray for the victims of this tragedy, but have no pity on these scum. So yeah, Democrats are trying to blame it on Trump. Trying to blame this shit on Trump. Trump guts key aviation safety committee. Fires heads of TSA and Coast Guard.
He probably fired a bunch of women.
This one says it was a standard training flight. They fly the river all day, every day. ATC did its job calling the traffic. It was a tragic accident caused by pilot error. The Secretary of Defense isn't organizing training flights. Just stop. What you're doing is gross. So this person seems to think it was just a training flight. Well, they're going to put new regulations in. All FAA regulations are written in blood, so they're going to do something now to make sure that that doesn't happen in the future. So it'll be safer because these people.
Most safety regulations are written in blood, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, OSHA anywhere. Yeah,
Factories and that kind of thing.
Because if nobody dies, there's really no. You're not forced to do
Shit!
anything.
Word, we can't bolt the only entrance into the factory where 600 people work making gasoline. That fuck you mean?
Yep. CNN is doing its best to blame Trump on the recent plane crash. Wow, that's crazy. CNN is
The numbers 33 stick out to me. I don't know what they mean, but they stick out.
Let's see what they're saying.
Mary, I have one more question for you. Look, it's January 29th. We are just 9 days out from a presidential transition, an administrative transition. The FAA administrator resigned at the end of the Biden administration. So there is no permanent confirmed FAA administrator right now. This is going to be a time where there's going to be a lot of public communication and a lot of investigation of what happened here. What do you anticipate this transition period is going to mean for what happens today and tomorrow and in the coming days as we find out what happened here? Mary, I have one more.
They're foaming at the mouth to blame him and to just generate attention.
Wow. Wow. The kids on the plane too. Says someone. Oh no, that's that damn tiger. Wow, that's crazy, man. President Thug hasn't crafted a heartfelt, cogent, or intelligent statement about the plane crash yet. Neither has Duffy, Hegseth, Noem. Elections and appointments have consequences. Pray for the victims and families. God, dog. This is a fake account. This got to be a fake account. Yeah,
Emmy Award winner.
That's a troll. That's a troll account.
It's a young scholar.
That's a troll account. Jesus Christ. Wow. That's just sad, man. There's nothing you can do, man. Like you said, once you take off, it's completely out of your hands, man.
Better hope you have a grizzled 55-year-old white pilot who can land the plane in a river with one wing.
Yeah, you ex fighter pilot or somebody in the middle. Yeah,
That's what Sully was, right? I mean,
yeah,
ex-fighter pilot or whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
Vietnam or some shit.
95% of the pilots in the country are white men, so you more than likely gonna have one.
Hello, everyone. I'm Robert Isom, the CEO of American Airlines. I want to brief you on a serious accident that occurred involving an American Eagle aircraft. The aircraft was operated by PSA Airlines, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of American Airlines. First and most importantly, I'd like to express our deep sorrow about these events. This is a difficult day for all of us at American Airlines, and our efforts now are focused entirely on the needs of our passengers, crew members, partners, first responders, along with their families and loved ones. I know that there are many questions, and at this early stage, I'll not be able to answer all of them, but I do want to share the information I have at this time. American Eagle Flight 5342, operated by PSA Airlines, a CRJ 700 aircraft traveling from Wichita, Kansas to Washington Reagan National Airport, has been involved in an accident near Washington, D.C. It appears to have collided with a military aircraft on approach. Flight 5342 was under the command of 4 crew members and carried 60 passengers for a total of 64 people on board. We are actively working with local, state, and federal authorities on emergency response efforts, and the American Airlines care team has been activated to assist our passengers and their families. We're cooperating fully with the National Transportation Safety Board in its investigation and will continue to provide all the information we can. Our cooperation is without pause, and we want to learn everything we can about today's events. That work will take time, but anything we can do now, we're doing. And right now, that means focusing on taking care of all passengers and crew involved, as well as their families. Members of our GO team will be on their way to Washington, D.C., and I'll be heading there shortly as well. We know that many people will be concerned for the welfare of their loved ones, and we've set up a special helpline friends and family can call at 1-800-679-8215. That's 1-800-679-8215. If you believe you've had friends or family on board American Eagle Flight 5342. We understand and appreciate that people are eager for information. Please know that we'll continue to share accurate and timely information as soon as we can, but anything we must report must be accurate. We owe that to everyone involved. Our team of highly trained professionals will be working around the clock to support our passengers, crew, and their families, however we can, and we'll update you as soon as we can. Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, not much levity about that. What can you even say?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like,
And welcome back.
like when
It ain't funny.
yeah, like when that shit happens, like there's literally, like, you can't undo that shit. That shit is done. There's nothing they can do about it. They can just pay the families and put in new regulations to try to do investigation first, find out why that happened, which will take months. They'll probably have preliminary findings, but the total investigation will take months and months. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Then put in new regulations to make sure that shit doesn't happen again, or to try to make sure that it doesn't happen again, even though it never happened before. Yeah, hold fast. I gotta give my wife some water. Hold it now.
So, KB, why is runway 33 stand out to you? I'm curious.
Well, numbers have meaning. I'm sure you know.
Oh, really? What kind of meaning do you think 33 has?
Well,
I know a number that
of
has
course,
meaning.
you know the number 6 has meaning.
Do you know what the meaning of the number 42 is?
I think it was in that book.
The number 42 is the universal N-word, according to Gematria.
I haven't heard that before. That's
George
cool.
Floyd, his name comes out to 42. And so does LeBron James.
They both serve the same master.
Yes, the Jesuits.
The military wing of the Catholic Church, yes.
Oh, so you know about the Jesuits then?
I went to a Jesuit school, of course.
Did you know that they're building a space station capable of striking any part of the Earth with a laser weapon?
I mean, I didn't hear about that, no, but
You may
that
need to look it up
sounds
on
like
your
right
John
up their
Campaign.
alley.
Oh yeah, the Jesuits. Really not much they're not capable of. People think it's the small hats that are in control, but it's really the Jesuits.
Well, I kind of view them as one and the same. They both
How?
just
How are they
worship
one and the
science.
same?
They're just science freaks.
The Jesuits are science freaks?
Yeah, the Jesuits are all about perfection through science. It's the best way I could put it.
Okay. I only learned about this recently, so.
Which is not Christian in the slightest. So, you know,
science
there's a reason you refer to them as the Jesuits, but technically
Wait,
they're
Jesuits aren't Christians?
Christians. I mean, they don't call themselves, they call themselves Jesuits.
Well, but are they like Catholics?
Yeah, I mean, Catholics, the Vatican at
Are
least, I
Catholics
shouldn't
not
say
Christian?
Catholics. The Catholic Church does not worship God, no.
Well, I don't know all the semantics, but like just off rip, you know, like Catholic is a Christian to me, just the way it seems.
Yeah, that's the surface appearance, yes.
Who are the OG Catholics?
Well, you have the Orthodox Church, of course, but
that's
they don't
true.
have a very strong presence in the New World, you could say.
Somebody pointed out in the chat that 33 may just correspond to like, you know, a 360 degree of landing angle, or you know, I don't know. I don't know why it's named runway 33, but that seems like a somewhat explanation to me. Or it could be because of an ancient Jesuit code. What do y'all think is more likely, chat? Perhaps the Jesuits planned this thousands of years ago, hundreds of years ago, wherever that, you know, they're pretty old order, aren't they?
I don't know when they started, no. I would guess sometime around the founding of America, United States.
Wikipedia says 1540.
So like good 150 years. Fucking math is bad.
Support the channel via PayPal, Cash App, or the Super Chat, guys. We giving you breaking news, man.
And welcome back. We are continuing to follow that breaking news out of Washington, D.C. An American Airlines jet and a Black Hawk colliding around 9 p.m. tonight. I do want to read this. Governor Maura Healey just tweeting out. She's closely following this news coming out of D.C. and thoughts are with the survivors, victims, and their families. Grateful for the quick action of first responders in the wake of this terrible tragedy.
Well, let's continue to follow this locally. Right now, our Michael Rosenfield is live for us at Logan to continue our coverage. Michael, good evening to you. What are you learning tonight?
Well, the last flights of the night from Boston, Logan Airport down to Washington, D.C. have been canceled because of this devastating news coming out of the nation's capital, as we've been reporting. An Army helicopter and an American Airlines regional jet colliding into each other, both of the aircraft ending up in the Potomac River near National Airport tonight. This happened around 9 o'clock this evening. Take a look at some of that video. Some of this incredible video and tragic video coming to us from the scene this evening from Washington, D.C. Again, early reports indicate that it was an Army helicopter and a passenger jet that collided into each other near Ronald Reagan National Airport, and both aircraft ending up in the water. The plane was an American Airlines jet coming in from Wichita, Kansas. There is a massive search and rescue effort taking place right now in the water. The local NBC affiliate in Washington reports that at least 4 people have been pulled alive from the river. The rescue effort is the focus right now. How this happened and what went wrong will, of course, be examined in the hours and days to come. That video you've been watching from an observation camera at the nearby Kennedy Center shows what appears to be the 2 aircraft near each other, and then a big fireball. Around 60 people are believed to have been on board the American Airlines flight. It's unknown how many were in the helicopter, but you can imagine it must be an incredibly difficult search and rescue in the dark, in the water. The
See,
frigid
he said it's
temperature of the
unknown.
Potomac
Why didn't
National
he say
Airport
it's
is
3 people?
People don't. I
It's
mean,
conflicting information.
that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean it's conspiracy because different people
It means
got.
something. I think
No, it's a
it's
full
dishonest to say it
Just
doesn't
a
mean
random
anything.
reporter on a local Boston station. Like,
Yeah.
it's not even what's the motive here?
First of all, this is
Now,
NBC. It's all under one
passengers here
umbrella.
at
It's an
Logan.
So
NBC local affiliate, is what it is.
Yeah,
they all follow the same script.
This ain't like Lester Holt and shit.
Told us they were on board a plane ready to head to DC tonight when they were told to deplane.
So basically, we were about to take off, and there was a separate malfunction having to do with, I guess, the gas or like some pressure. And they were resetting the system, and as they were resetting it, then we got another call. Hey, this is your captain speaking, completely unrelated. We are going to have to deboard because DCA is no longer accepting flights. Unfortunately, there's been an accident, but you know, we didn't know what was going on, and now we do. It's very sad.
What's your reaction? So certainly a story we'll be following through the night as this tragic story continues.
Hey guys, breaking news. So sorry to report this.
Oh, this is what that guy was talking about
Washington,
earlier.
D.C., we've got
Yeah.
a small regional jet that has collided with a helicopter. We're going to tell you what we have found, the official report right now coming out from the FAA, and we're going to talk about it. Joining me is Micah Messer. Micah has been on our team. He does a lot of the research for the news that we've been reporting. Micah, thanks for coming on.
Happy to be here. Just bad situation too.
Yeah, bad situation. So I'm going to pull up the information that we're seeing right now. What we've got is American Airlines Flight 5342, and that's a regional for PSA. It's a CRJ 700 series with 65 passengers on board. Right now, we've been told that there have been 6 people pulled, but we don't know the condition of those people. The CRJ was on final approach into Washington's DCA airport. As we show you here, the DCA airport has runway 1 here, which is the approach that they were coming in with a circle to land on runway 33 shown right here. So they were coming in, they were told circle to land, and somewhere out here, they collided with what the FAA is telling us is a Sikorsky H-60 Black Hawk with the military. So they collided with a Black Hawk helicopter. And this is the video from the scene. So we'll be playing this. Michael, what are you seeing here?
Yeah, so when I first saw this video, you obviously see the explosion. And when they zoom in here, you can see the regional jet, which is the brighter light, and then the helicopter coming in from the left and the impact. And if you look closely, you can still see the larger aircraft flipping and turning as it makes its way towards the Potomac before it impacts the water. Not sure yet if we're seeing the entire aircraft or parts of the aircraft or what. Was still too early to tell, but you can definitely tell that there's some rotation there as we look. I mean, right there, it just turns right down into the water. You can still see the strobe flashing. So definitely both aircraft impacting in the water.
Okay, so that's what we're seeing. And what I'm going to do is, my co-host Christy flies for a regional. She's very, very familiar.
Salute to Jimmy Fields. Salute to What in the World TV. Says Democrats blame Trump, we blame DEI.
Pretty true. Nobody really
Shout
knows
out to-
exactly what happened yet.
Right. I mean, it's sometimes too. It could be. It's what you think it is. And this is what I get from watching. I watch a bunch of these flight, crash autopsies or reviews, and it's something that you never would have thought. It could have been like a bolt. The plane could have like got the transmission to increase its altitude, and the pilot could have pulled on the fucking shit, pulled back on the plane, and it was a bolt that was loose, and then the plane wouldn't get no altitude, and that could have been why. You know what I'm saying? It's always something that you never would have expected. You know what I mean?
I saw some calculations that concluded that they were essentially closing at around 250 miles an hour to each other, which is about 360 some odd feet a second. So even at like 1,000-foot distance, I mean, what, 3-4 seconds?
Yeah.
No attempt to, evade at the last second. That's what I think the expert would key in on.
You don't know that yet.
The Black Hawk does not, as far as I understand, carry any kind of air-to-air radar. So without any kind of, system for indicating that there's aircraft in the proximity, then if they didn't see them at night, they would have no way that I know of knowing that the aircraft was there. But now, I've also heard that air traffic control was directing them and letting them know about it. So like I said, nobody really knows what happened at this moment.
This is the most popular used runway or whatever in the country.
Yeah.
They should assume that would be the safe slogan. Assume there's a plane
used, but that airport is certainly one of the most.
Yeah, listen, this is the airport where all the congressmen and fucking senators fly in and out of fucking DC. This or Dulles. But you know what I'm saying? Like this is a fucking airport where, you know what I'm saying, like the dignitaries that come to fucking, you know what I mean? Well, probably not the main dignitaries, but like a lot of people, come in and out of here, man. It's a big deal. It never happened before. This never happened before.
And even if you are being directed by ATC, you still got a human pilot at the control of the helicopter.
Exactly.
He could have had an aneurysm. He could have been suicidal. We don't freaking know.
Or he could have just if that was a training flight, if that was in fact a training flight for the Black Hawk, you got somebody on the training flight.
Yeah, just by its own nature, right?
Yeah, salute to Deluxe 247 AK Calvary AK, the real MVP coming through once again. Continue
Convenient.
to support be via PayPal. Jesus Christ, you like Baumhauer, man. The fuck you
No, that's dead ass. That's dead ass a good convenient cover story. Oh, it's a training flight.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Salute man, Alex, man. I got you, man. So thank you for that, Alex. This right here, there's no way that you can like really determine right now. They got to pull every piece of that plane out of every piece they can. They got to get the flight recorder, they got to get the black box, they got to get all that stuff before they can give you an official thing, because there's just no way. And then they got both planes, both aircraft. We'll get a report on this in 6 months to a year on what really officially happened. That's just the way it is.
You're with flying into DCA, and we're going to bring her on as soon as she clicks the link and comes on. But the other thing too is it looks like from this video that we are facing over the Lincoln Memorial towards the south, I believe, where we see this happening. Hard to say there, but that definitely looks like what's the Kennedy Center camera. Okay. So,
yeah, it looks like it's facing almost a southeasterly direction. As you can see, the aircraft that took off actually took off runway 1 taking off out of DCA and making that left-hand turn once you leave that runway, and then you can see the regional coming in on 3-3.
They were coming in 3-3. Yeah.
Right.
Horrible. Okay, so you have the audio, right?
I do. Let me see if I can get that up.
Okay. And also, we've got Christy on. While you're working on that, Christy, I bet your phone lines are just blowing up right now.
Yeah. Sorry. First and foremost, I'm gutted right now. So I apologize because this is a little emotional. PSA is a sister company to Envoy. So there are pilot brethren. It doesn't matter what airline they are. They could be SkyWest, they could be Mesa, they could be Envoy, PSA. It doesn't matter. All that matters is that we had a crew and their passengers go down. And as a pilot and a captain, I am feeling feelings, especially when this is a routine flight for me. I go to DC quite often. I go to DC 4 times next month. So knowing that this could happen to any one of us, my friends right now are all shattered. I'm getting tons of phone calls from other friends asking if I'm okay because they don't understand that, I don't fly the CRJ. It's all out of concern and love, of course, guys. I'm okay, but yeah. So I'm definitely feeling some emotions right now.
Okay. Let's get back to you in a moment, Christy, about flying into DCA in this runway 33 circle to land. I'm sorry, runway 01 circle to land 33. But let's, Micah, you say you have the ATC. Let's listen to that.
This is Win.
Did you see that? 472. American 3130, go around, turn left end 250, climb maintain 3000.
Okay, left end 350,
White flares.
3000, American 3130.
Hold on, man.
Tower Blue Streak 5347 is on final. Request runway 33, circle to 33. Second heading for American 3130.
American 3130, go around, turn left end 270, climb maintain 3000.
270 on the heading, 3000, American 3130.
American 472, careful landing clearance runway 1 continue.
So here they are in some of the busiest airspace in the country, or certainly the most restricted airspace in the country. And they're having to move flights out. Clearly, nobody else is landing right now.
Yeah, Dan, and if you pay attention to the audio, you can hear someone say, "Tower, did you see that?" And it's just coming up here in a few more seconds as I replay it.
Okay.
You can hear the other controllers in the background too, telling their people go around, go around, go around.
Yeah, so pretty chilling. I got goosebumps listening to that.
Yeah, this is horrible. I'm hoping they pull as many survivors as possible from the Potomac.
Are they saying that they've got survivors?
They're saying possibly. Let me check while we're talking here. The water's got to be cold,
freezing, absolutely freezing.
Yeah. I'm checking. While we're doing that, I'm going to switch over and show you guys the current flight radar 24 of what's going on right now currently. Now, a lot of people have been flooding my phone saying that the helicopter that crashed into the plane was November 11 Papa Papa, but no, it's doing circles. This is current live right now, and November 1 Papa Papa is a law enforcement that is involved in the search and rescue. You can see multiple helicopters. They've got boats in the water. They're rescuing people. I know that. So, okay. So what we're hearing is 5 bodies have been pulled out so far, but unknown as far as their status. Man, I hope they're okay. I hope they're alive. But looking at that video, that looks horrendous.
I mean, they were what, maybe 400 feet above the ground, which is high. I mean, that's high enough, obviously, but it's so close to the ground. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, well, the plane got cut in half too.
Yeah. And
Hey, I was saying you remember the eyewitness? He said he saw white flares, so maybe that's what the pilot was talking about.
this is the wreckage right here. That's the wing, you can tell, and that's the they got to pull this out of the water, and then dang.
Do you really think anybody survived? I mean, looking at the accident and how cold the water is, I mean,
I think those initial people that they pulled out, if they can save them, I mean, if they weren't injured too bad during the crash.
Anything's possible. People.
yeah, but then
Coulda
the
survived.
cold water.
Nobody now though, but they got the after 3 minutes you start getting disoriented.
It's gonna be mighty disorienting getting thrown headfirst into the dark, freezing
Yeah, for
water out of your plane seat that's on fire and shit. I mean,
You're already disoriented from the crash, so I can
you
imagine
go way under the water or something.
falling
Who
into
knows?
water.
Yeah. If you
Freezing cold
pop back
water.
up at the surface, if you pop back up at the surface, you're black. You're in your seatbelt, man. You're in your seatbelt, man. And like you get your seatbelt loose and you pop back up at the surface, man. You a blessed motherfucker, man. But then it's gasoline. That water is full of
Probably
gasoline.
severely
Jet
injured by the impact with the water just to begin with.
fuel. Jet fuel. So you're breathing in jet fuel and you're freezing, and the water, and that's if you can tread water in the Potomac, because I'm telling you that thing is whipping like it's a savage river, man. It's like a river from back in the fucking prehistoric time. They have not tamed that river, man. Yeah, man. So yeah, you salute to What in the World TV says, I live under the flight line, and yesterday I actually saw an American Airlines flight make a sharp turn. Thought to myself, that was a sharp turn. Now this today. Wow. Okay. So this guy lives under the, maybe they want a holding pattern. But we'll see, man. Shout out to you, What in the World TV. Man. Man.
Check out the dash cam footage of the collision.
The dash cam footage.
I'm curious to see if there'll be more video, but
Yeah, definitely. That area has all types of
you would think there would be, yeah.
Yeah, there's cameras everywhere down there. They're gonna have multiple angles of this shit. And there's a lot of plane spotters out there too. They might have been recording it just to, you know what I mean? Yeah, you're gonna have a bunch of different yeah, that's it's just sad, man. Those people they didn't have a chance. It was just boom. Mm-hmm.
Definitely sad.
Yeah, man. Well, let's see another story, man.
We have an update now on Dwayne Keefe D. Davis. He's charged in the murder of Tupac Shakur. Davis was in court again this morning after a fight with another inmate. Fox 5's Mike Allen walks us through what happened.
Dwayne Davis is answering for a jailhouse brawl. Here's what court records show, along with images from surveillance video released by Las Vegas Justice Court. On December 23rd, Davis was being escorted back into his cell when another inmate, Rockland Hamilton, who's also facing a murder charge, is standing to the right by a sink in this room. Hamilton walked over to Davis and squared up, looking ready to fight. They started throwing punches and grappling, and the officer escorting Davis called for backup, gave verbal commands too for the inmates to stop fighting, and then hit them with pepper spray. Before backup officers arrived, the two inmates kept grappling and throwing punches and were eventually separated after backup officers got into the room. Both Davis and Hamilton face battery by prisoner charges. Mike Allen, Fox 5 News, local.
I think it might be a Hombrito or a Aryan Nation.
That was a light skin. That was a light skin brother, man.
Oh, light skin?
Looks like it, yeah. Looks like it to me. And let's see what CNN talking about.
And you were driving, you see this thing happen. What did it look like to you?
I saw only about 2 seconds of it, but I believe that what I saw was the collision. So I was headed south, going straight. The airport was off to my left. I was looking at the line of planes coming in because that highway lines up almost exactly with the line of planes coming in to land. It's just off to the right a little bit. So I was driving home, and I always watched that line of planes coming in. I saw how evenly spaced apart they were, and I thought there might be one right off to my left, right about to land. It looked like the spacing was right, so I looked off, and initially I saw the plane, and it looked fine, normal. It was right about to head over land, maybe 120 feet above the water. It looked like a fairly, a small end but normal sized passenger jet, and it looked normal. It was level. So I looked back at the road, and then I looked back again just to see if I could maybe see it land. And this was 3 seconds later, and at that point it was banked all the way to the right. I would say maybe past the right, past 90 degrees. I could see the underside of it. It was lit up a very bright yellow, and there was a stream of sparks underneath it. It looked like a Roman candle, if you've ever held one of those on the 4th of July, but it was much, much bigger than that. It was high off the ground. I didn't see anything beyond that. I didn't see any helicopter. It's a very, very...
You didn't even see one.
Anything that's not illuminated, you can't really see. So I didn't see the other aircraft, but I saw the plane banking at an angle that a plane shouldn't bank, and I saw sparks flying.
Wow. That drive that so many Washingtonians do, I've driven that many times myself. And those planes, as you said, it's extremely normal to see tons and tons of aircraft landing all the time. So you see this happening, you see the sparks flying. What happened next? What did you do next?
So I was turning my head to the left and I was driving, right? So I looked at this for, it couldn't have been more than 2 seconds, and then I needed to look back at the road. And then I looked back again. I wondered if I was going to see an explosion, a crash into the ground. I was trying to decide if I should call 911. This was all happening very, very quickly. So I wasn't thinking entirely good, bro. But I turned back and I didn't see anything. I didn't see a plane hit the ground. I didn't see flames or an explosion or smoke.
Yeah, I mean,
he was saying, I thought maybe I should pull over and call 911, and pretty sure they're gonna figure it out.
Here goes the official press conference. You ready?
Here we go.
The mayor of DC, she got out the shower.
Sister.
Oh man. She does look nervous. Fair enough.
That's her airport.
I'm Muriel Bowser. I'm the mayor of Washington, D.C. I'm at Reagan National Airport. I am joined by United States Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, United States Senator Jim Moran, Senator Roger Marshall, Jack Potter, the CEO of the Metropolitan Washington Airports Authority. We are here to brief you on the very tragic events of this evening, where we know a passenger plane coming to the airport here collided with a military helicopter. Our fire department, DC Fire and EMS, supported by fire departments and police departments from across the Washington metropolitan region, are executing a rescue operation in the Potomac River. They are working diligently in very dark and cold conditions, cold water, to execute this rescue operation. We have had the opportunity to be briefed by American Airlines officials. I'm told that American Airlines leadership is on the way to Washington as well. And officials are in the airport talking to families now. We do have a 1-800 number where families should contact us, should contact American Airlines for more information.
And attempting a rescue. Tonight, I spoke with President Trump and his team in the Situation Room. I had a conversation with Secretary Pete Hegseth as well, and then with the Kansas delegation and the mayor and others in leadership, as well as Governor Youngkin from Virginia and Governor Kelly from Kansas. From the Department of Transportation and FAA's perspective, we are going to offer full support to those on the ground, to the mayor, but also to the NTSB, who is going to be conducting the investigation in this matter. We are going to provide all the support that's necessary. Mayor.
Thank you. So with that, I want to ask Chief John Donnelly from DC Fire and EMS to provide an update.
Good evening, everyone. I'm John Donnelly, Chief of DC Fire and EMS. This evening at 8:48, an alert was sounded, initiating a large regional response to a report of an aircraft crash on approach to the airport. This response includes first the Metropolitan Washington Airports Authority's Fire Department, the District of Columbia Fire Department, the Metropolitan Police Department, and the U.S. Park Police to respond into the area and to sort that out. At 8:58, the first units arrived on the scene and found an aircraft in the water and began rescue operations. This incident has grown. There's currently about 300 responders working. We have boats from all throughout the region, police and fire boats. We have a mutual aid agreement in Washington, D.C., the National Capital Region Mutual Aid Agreement administered by the Metropolitan Washington Council of Governments, and we're all operating under that. We're operating under a unified command. Everybody's together. So we also have requested state police helicopters from Maryland, and the Coast Guard helicopter is working. So this is a state and federal response as well. U.S. Coast Guard's got some boats in the water as well. So it's a highly complex operation. The conditions out there are extremely rough for the responders. It's cold. They're dealing with relatively windy conditions. Wind is hard out on the river. So they're out there working. We're doing everything we can to keep them safe. And with that, I'm going to turn it back to the mayor.
In Chief Bonnet from MWA.
I'm Rick Bonnet, Fire Chief of MWA Fire and Rescue. Our units, as Chief Donnelly already alluded to, at 2048, we received an alert from the FAA tower of an aircraft incident involving a commercial aircraft and a helicopter. Our units immediately responded and deployed 3 boats and immediately called for mutual aid resources. Again, as Chief Donnelly said, it's an active operation that's going to last many hours as we continue to work through recovery efforts and rescue operations. This will be ongoing for quite a while. Our thoughts and prayers are with the families and our communities, and we appreciate all DC's support to our agency and our federal partners.
So with that, I wanted to turn to the senators who are from Kansas who wanted to say a few words. First, Senator Moran, and then Senator Marshall.
Mayor, thank you, and Mr. Secretary, thank you, and to our first responders, thank you very much for all that's taking place here. I'm Jerry Moran. I'm a United States Senator from Kansas, and I chair the subcommittee in Commerce Committee on Aviation. So we have really a serious and sad circumstance that we want to be here to be helpful. And we're praying that our responders are safe and the folks who are on that flight are recovered. The circumstance I would describe is that I know that flight. I've flown it many times myself. I lobbied American Airlines to begin having a direct nonstop flight service to DCA. That flight has been in existence about a year. And it is certainly true that in Kansas and in Wichita in particular, we're going to know people who are on this flight, know their family members, know somebody. So this is a very personal circumstance as well as an official response. And again, we will do everything we can to make certain that we're supportive of the rescue efforts, and we'll do everything we can to make certain that our subcommittee and Congress is engaged in what needs to take place following the outcome of this evening and this month's kind of investigation. I've talked to NTSB, I've talked to the White House, I've talked to the Department of Defense, and I've talked to the CEO of American Airlines, and there is all of us pulling together for the best outcome possible. I'm honored to be here with my colleague, Senator Marshall, as we try to make certain that we care for those certainly back in Kansas that were on that flight. But it's a reminder that there are people here in Washington, D.C., in this region, in Virginia and Maryland, and many places else that fly to and from Kansas. And so we're rooting and supporting.
Yeah.
Yo, but shouldn't they have talked to each other like before taking flight? Shouldn't the helicopter have called like the air traffic control? Hey, is there anybody around?
Now they tell you you don't have to call. Like when you like being an aircraft, they just going to tell you. They got you on their radar. They're gonna call you like, hey, flight such and such, I need you to go up to 3,000 feet and make a left at 5 degrees or whatever. They're gonna tell you what to do just to stay out of the way of other aircraft. You don't have to ask them. Now, if you want to do something, if you like need emergency landing or something, if you want to do something, you can ask them, hey man, we need to make emergency landing. Can you clear then they'll clear out a path for you, move all the other planes out your way so you can do what you gotta do. But you don't have to ask air traffic control. They're gonna tell you what to do. And if you gotta deviate from their orders, you gotta tell them.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I get you. It sounds so weird that if they tell them what to do and whatever, how did they not know that, hey, there's a plane right
Those
above
ain't the
me?
two planes though. Them ain't the only two planes. You gotta remember, there's probably like 30 planes coming into DC in that same 5 minute. Do you see? Even on the video, you can see the plane going out. There's another plane leaving the airport.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, in the vicinity of the helicopter, they couldn't see, like, hey, they're pretty close by.
Yeah, we don't know. They probably might have. We don't know. We don't know if they did or didn't.
That's what I wonder.
Yeah, you never know, man.
I don't think we'll ever know.
Until we get the black box. Maybe the black box will give like some
True.
information.
I don't know if helicopters have that same system though, especially a military one. They could
they
easily
got a
just.
black box though. I think they got a black box.
But the military's gonna get a hold of it once they have it.
Look at this plane. This plane's leaving. You can tell this plane just left Reagan National. because this plane is going towards it. So yeah, it's a lot of planes in the air at that time, man.
Well, I mean, come on, Ock. The helicopter just flew into the landing plane. I don't think it's that simple. You can't simplify it like that.
I just don't think everything is a conspiracy. I believe sometimes shit happens.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I respect that. I don't really agree, but this circumstance is very erroneous.
I mean, maybe it was really just an accident.
Yeah, and they're gonna get to the bottom of this one. This is like right there. It's gonna be like somebody head got a roll for this.
It would be a good opportunity for Trump to build some goodwill if he really got to the bottom of this and figured it out.
Yeah, somebody head gonna roll for this. This was the military and passenger plane. Somebody's head is gonna roll. Like they're gonna like, and Trump, he does want to clean up all the air traffic control stuff. So yeah, and DEI, you don't want DEI in anything, but in air traffic control and pilots and stuff like that, you just want the best people, man. Yeah, we don't know if it was DEI or nothing. We don't know. Could have been a seasoned veteran pilot.
Did you ever see that story about that DEI lesbian captain of a ship in New Zealand? She was a captain of a Navy ship in New Zealand, a DEI, and she sunk that shit, hitting a sandbar, destroyed the whole fucking ship, which was worth like 500 billion, something like that.
Jesus Christ!
Like literally destroyed it by running into a sandbar, which is like, yo, bitch, that's the basic shit they teach you in being a captain of a ship is to avoid getting too close to the shore.
That's 101. Jeez.
Stupid ass bitch. Seriously, she fucking endangered everybody's life. She sunk the ship. I mean, come on, yo.
The New Zealand one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's crazy.
You heard about that one?
Yeah, I watch Bearing. He's pretty fucking funny, man.
Yeah, bro, that shit was insane. Bitch is a lesbian fucking DEI hire, and she destroyed like a whole big ass Navy ship in New Zealand.
Like their fucking nicest one. Top of the line.
Yeah, for real. Top of the line equipment. Like, there's no way you could crash, and she somehow managed to crash.
No, not only that, it was a ship specifically designed to map the seafloor.
Damn.
That's serious, yo. That's just insane. You could look it up real quick, yo. This bitch really crashed a fucking $300-500 billion ship, and it wasn't because she was under fire or nothing like that. She just ran into the shore, into a sandbar.
Yeah, you got to blame the people who had her doing that. You know what I'm saying? You got to blame them, man.
Don't hold the woman accountable.
She should have never been. She should have never been in that position, man.
Never, yo. The only reason they picked her was she's lesbian, she's a woman, she's a DEI. That's the only reason.
Yeah, she should have been like making like some brownies or something, man.
Yeah, cooking some soup.
A casserole or something, you know.
Yeah, yo, have some tank.
Oh, here's a conspiracy theory. The Chinese paid her a bunch of money to crash the ship, and she knew she'd get away with it.
Really? You know, I could see that happening. I mean, greed is a deadly sin, so I could see them paying her, I don't know, 100 million. Hey, crash this ship.
Wow.
So I could definitely see that happening. Yeah.
Anything is possible.
Let's go from here. Let's see, man. Yeah, man, this is a great show, man. We're gonna tomorrow. There should be some more information, man. I'm thinking there might be some more information, about what happened. Preliminary findings, even though that shit ain't gonna really mean nothing. That shit ain't really gonna mean nothing, man. It ain't really gonna mean nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, we ain't gonna find out what really happened for 6 months to a year. Any final thoughts, man?
Rest in
God
peace
bless.
to all the people. Rest in peace to the people, and I hope their families find some closure, as much as they can. And great show, great nation. Hit that like.
Same black time, same black channel. Out of here. Peace out.